Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. You already know what it is. My name is Cody Lashney. I am your host, being joined today by my Friday Freak Show. You're faithful, man. These guys, they're my dudes. You know them and love them. As always, this is a show for Panther fans by Panther fans. If you want to sound off and make your opinion heard, you can absolutely do so. The link to join the show is in the description box of the YouTube video and the Facebook video. I also just posted it up in the chat room right here. So if you guys want to jump in and be a part of this conversation, you are more than welcome to do so. Let me introduce my illustrious guest. And then we won't wait around no more. We'll jump right into it. First and foremost, let me introduce my man Nick Montiero. He's around a bunch of salty ass Celtics fans. What's that like, Nick?
Oh well, everybody at work today was in a great mood just because of the Celtics, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't follow basketball. I don't really care for it. It's not my thing. But now you guys know how I feel as a Panthers fan, so it's only fair.
Yeah, dude, I always said to myself, if the Hornets ever get good, which, by the way, they just hired Golden State's like assistant coach or some shit. If the Hornets ever get good, I might check it out and maybe try and jump on the bandwagon. But, yeah, dude, I need my sports to have some violence in it. But
I'm right there with you, dude.
Yeah.
I went to the Final Four as a kid, and, I played basketball as a kid. It's just watching it on TV, it's like just watching guys running back and forth across the field.
Same. I can't do baseball either. Yeah, I'm like that with a lot of sports. But you know me, I'm a Neanderthal, so I just need violence like that. Next up, my man Kevin. No, pardon me, but this is the second time in a row now.
Come on, man. Right.
I know, man. I'm getting better at it. It's White Chocolate Espresso coming to us live from Charleston, South Carolina. This man is a midget wrestling connoisseur. White Chocolate, what's up, bro?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling. I lost a couple pounds, all in the chin area. So
nice. I see that, man.
Yeah,
I like it, man. They should put you on a GQ cover or something. Next up,
I was there last.
Oh yeah.
You missed
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did miss it. Send it to me in the mail.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I'll add that to my spank bank some other time. But yeah, next up, this man gets more fans every week. People love his takes. People love his energy. Kenneth Panther Pickle, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, folks? Are we ready? Are we ready for the Blubber Express? The Blubber Express, name your favorite wannabe quarterback, Baker the Fake Mayfield.
Baker the Fake Mayfield. So, by the way, Kevin, you need to change your audio source to get your headphones or whatever. It kind of sounds like you're in a box. But I did hear you loud and clear about Baker Mayfield. It's going to be a spirited conversation, and that's actually a great segue too, because our next guest. And to start the conversation, I'm going to throw it to this man first, because I basically know Nick's opinion, White Chocolate, Kenneth. I talk to these brothers every day. But this man has been an ardent supporter of the idea that the Panthers should trade for Baker Mayfield, man. And here at the C3 Panthers podcast, we stifle no opinions. So let me welcome Anthony to the show. Anthony, what's up with you, brother?
What's up, Cody? Nothing much, just DoorDash, and thought I'd stop in. But yeah, man, it seems like I'm the only one that's like fighting for Baker, man. I look like a clown on Twitter, but I mean, I don't care, man. I'm just talking my talk. I just want to win some football games, man. Which whoever the QB is, whatever we can do.
Stand your ground.
But I mean, listen, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with winning.
Like, I'm just dude. If I felt like getting Sam, like I looked season, I felt like if we kept Teddy, I don't think things would have been that bad. So, like, guess that starts my reasoning for Baker, just because I think better than both of those two. And I mean, we upgraded the O line. The defense should be better. But listen, if Corral's ready to roll, let's just roll with him. Because all this smoke I hear about, oh, Sam's looking great in OTAs, blah, blah, blah. That's the same shit they were saying last year. And even the Jets were saying that too. And look what the Jets did when they went 2-14. They threw Sam on the field because they knew he was the best shot at losing them games. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
So let me ask you this then. To you, what is the difference in level of play between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold? Like, what is it, do you think? And listen, I know we all hate Sam Darnold. You don't have to explain how bad Sam is to me. But I'm saying, like, what is it specifically about Baker that you think he brings to the table that could be the missing ingredient for the Panthers this year?
Well, well, one, you can tell he wants to play football. Like he's based on what everyone. I mean, people. Not many Browns players have vouched for him, but I mean, he's a fiery dude. He was a top 10 quarterback in 2020 when healthy. And granted, yeah, he had a good roster, but that's kind of why I'm fighting for him, because we do have an O-line now. We do have an upgraded defense. And I think if you threw Sam Darnold out there, he'd still throw INTs in clean pockets. So, I mean, listen, I'm just trying to, whether rules the answer or not, I just want to win games. So, I mean, I feel like he gives us the best chance to go into the season looking for a winning record. Now, if we stay with the QB room the way it is, I would just want to start Corral and see what we have for him, because we got to know, because the quarterbacks next draft class are generational, in my opinion. So, but I mean, he was also, Baker was hurt last year, and he kind of pulled a Cam Newton. He shouldn't have been playing at all. Like week 2 when he tore his labrum, the Browns should have just been like, yeah, sit out. Like, and I mean, he turned around a franchise that was utter garbage for the past, like, I don't even know how many seasons. I mean, they went to the playoffs. Yes, he didn't win. He won a playoff game, but I mean, listen, he's still young. He's only played 4 seasons of football. I personally, my biggest thing for him is he's proven that he can be a good quarterback in this league. Sam Darnold has proven nothing to anyone. He's never had a 20 touchdown season. I mean, I don't know, man. That's just me, though. That's just me talking.
Yeah. Well, no. So let me ask you one more question, and then I'll open it up to everyone else. And you know, I'm standing on you because like you represent this alternate viewpoint that like most fans on this podcast really don't have. So what is your level of interest on Matt Corral? Because I kind of feel like, you know, a lot of people who want Baker Mayfield, they're either not excited about Matt Corral as a prospect, or they're just, you know, they're very hesitant about wanting to put him on the football field being a rookie. And by the way, no wrong answers. Whatever you feel, that's your opinion. Where do you land on Matt Corral and the argument that Baker Mayfield pushes Matt Corral down the road even further, and it prevents us from seeing what we have in Matt Corral for a long time?
Yeah, well, I think you answered it. Like, I don't want to push. Like I said, like, if Matt Corral, that's why I also think if they were to trade for Baker, they should wait a little bit, because they need to see what Corral looks like. Like, if Corral's blowing away Darnold, then yeah, let's just start Corral. But I feel like, once again, like you said, like my level of interest with Corral, like I want him to be good. It's just, you know, he was a 3rd round pick, and we've seen Matt Rule not play 3rd round players. Brady Christensen, Deontay Brown didn't even see the field. So, I mean, I'm just worried that the Panthers won't even give him that chance to show what he has. And my last thing is, this is just my opinion, but I know for a damn fact that Matt Rule is the one that's pushing this Baker Mayfield thing, because he's the one on the hot seat. He's the one dangling from a rope. And there is no way David Tepper is going to have this man return if we have another 5-win season. There is no way. So I think that's what it comes down to. I feel like Matt Rule's just trying to show David Tepper that we can win now. And I just don't think he believes in he doesn't want to throw a rookie on the field to have those bumps in the road and that. Like, he wants to win.
Do I sound okay now?
Yeah, you sound good. By the way, I meant to put that in the private chat. I didn't mean to air you out.
You're
like
good.
that.
You're good. You're good.
You're good. But no, fantastic points, Anthony. And I do think you hit the nail on the head. Like, you and I are 100% in agreement in that. I feel like this whole, I forget who, someone put it out that Matt Rule was willing to start with Sam Darnold and Matt Corral. I don't believe that shit for a second, dude. Not even a second. I think this is 100% a Matt Rule move. I think this is something that he wants. Real quick, before we continue the conversation, let me add my man SC Based to the conversation. SC, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, people? What's going on? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Happy Friday. Hey, man, jump in on this Baker Mayfield conversation, man. I know we've talked about it before. I'll open it up to everybody. I'll pitch it to SC Base, but then everybody can respond after him. What do you think about Baker Mayfield at this point? And who do you think is truly the ringleader behind all the reports that Baker Mayfield and, might still be a possibility for Carolina? We'll go to SC first.
I mean, honestly, Baker could be a solid quarterback. I mean, when he was healthy, he took the Browns to the playoffs. I mean, he's no Joe Burrow. He's no Patrick Mahomes. He's no Justin Herbert. But I think he's a solid quarterback given a great team, a decent team. Honestly, I would like him, but I think at this point, I mean, what's the holdup? I mean, we're going into training camp about a month and a half. So it's about time if you're gonna get him in here,
Yeah, man.
I mean, honestly, I think it's David Tepper, really. I mean, he's quarterback hungry. He was part ownership of a franchise, the head of franchise quarterback for 15 seasons. So he knows that you need that stalwart, to have any kind of success in the NFL, and he's being hungry. But that's the nature of the game. I mean, you don't always come across franchise quarterbacks. I mean, honestly, if it was Matt Rule as a head coach, he's probably just trying to roll with what he has. And Sam Darnold is the rookie he has, and try to build your team around that quarterback. But if we do roll with Sam, I think he's going to cost us way too many games for Rule to see another season.
Yep.
So you think that whoever reported that, chat room saying Sports Illustrated reported that, but you basically think that Matt Rule doesn't want Baker Mayfield and that he just wants Sam and Matt.
Well, I don't think he doesn't want Sam, but I mean, you got to roll with you want. I mean, clearly Cleveland's not budging on, trading Baker, or it would have been a done deal by now. I think if he could get Baker, he would be okay. Yeah, that would be a better option. But as a head coach, he has to roll what he has on the team. I played football. I only played in high school, but I'm sure our coach would have liked to have had a better quarterback. But I mean, what are you going to do? Go get a guy out of Texas and give him the transfer?
Yeah, man. There's really not a whole lot of options for us at this point. Let me read this tweet real quick. This is from Josina Anderson. She says, I'm told the Panthers are still doing its due diligence in terms of looking into quarterback Baker Mayfield, the football player, and the person. So that's the first time that it's really appeared that they're like trying to dig in to his character a little bit more. Kenneth, I'm going to go to you next, but let me welcome my man Twan Don to the show. Twan, what's up, bro?
Boy, yeah, what's going on, fellas? Happy to be here with y'all Friday night.
Happy to be with you, man.
Early tonight. Get in here early.
Hey, man, I feel it. It's a vibe, man. I appreciate that.
Panther Pickle, what's up? Pickle?
What's up, brother?
Man, happy you can join us, man.
Wait.
Hey, man. So let me go to Panther Pickle real quick. What are you thinking about this, Kenneth? Who's the maestro flicking their wand around, trying to orchestrate a Baker Mayfield trade?
Matt Rule without power. Matt Rule's pushing this. I think I believe that. I don't have no inside source or anything like that. Now wait a minute, that's not what a good person says. I have my sources. How's that? My sources. The guy in the bathroom told me. But I believe that Matt Rule is pushing it because he wants a veteran. My problem and my truly only problem with bringing in Baker Mayfield, not counting the cap, not counting the salary issues, is I don't want to give nothing for him. And given the fact that if you bring him in, they're not going to cut Sam Darnold. They're not going to bench Sam Darnold or have him inactive unless Matt Corral was literally blowing everybody away.
Yeah, and there were reports. So yesterday was the last day of OTAs.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Matt Corral was looking good.
Yep,
making throws on the run. Apparently, his first red zone play was a touchdown pass. So it's already starting to happen. Go ahead, Ken.
Yep. And Sam had a very bad day yesterday. At the same time, Matt Corral had a good day. But I still don't think that. I still don't think that if you bring in another quarterback like Baker Mayfield, I think that Matt Corral is going to be inactive the entire season unless somebody gets hurt. I don't really want to see that, because once you inactivate him like that, you're pretty much giving him the Will Grill treatment right there. You just are.
Yeah.
And that's just, to me, that's just wrong all the way around. Now, Matt Corral, they said it in the pressers, because folks, I don't really do a lot of reading this time of year, Sports Illustrated and other sites. I actually go to YouTube or the site and I actually watch the pressers myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear the people say it. I hear what Matt Rule says. I do this myself. Now, Matt Corral has to learn in the huddle, which basically means you're interpreting the plays, getting them to the players that need to know. He also has to learn the line of scrimmage a little bit. Normal things a rookie has to learn. Okay.
Yep.
I love our veterans, experienced, older veterans. A lot of them are retired that are coming to OTAs and training camps and practices and doing what they can do to help out. I absolutely love that. I wanted to throw that in there, by the way. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like I said, I feel like everybody can have a theory on this and probably be halfway right. Like, I feel like there's so many different power structures in play right now between David Tepper and Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer. It's like you really don't truly know who is and isn't calling the shots, really. So that's been a topic of the conversation. Let me go to Nick, and then I'm going to go to Twan on this. Nick, if you're still there, man, who's the guy, in your opinion, that's really pushing for this? I mean, is it all Matt Rule? Is there anyone that think David Tepper is the actual person behind Baker Mayfield? Because maybe, I mean, especially with all the bad press that Tepper has been getting, maybe this is a David Tepper thing more than anyone.
Can you hear me now, Cody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you had cut out halfway through what you were saying, but basically, I really don't know who's pushing for this. Okay, because what we saw last season from Baker, yes, he was injured, but he wasn't who he was the season before. And the team that he was on the season before was pretty stacked, if I remember correctly. Okay, so it's almost one of those deals where we don't know whether or not we have somebody who comes to the table with the skill of like Patrick Mahomes, or if we have another Tannehill. We don't know who we would have in Baker. I can see Matt Rule pushing for it just to save his job, because let's face it, Baker is better than Sam in a lot of ways, but not much better. Okay, but I could also see Tepper pushing it for it because he wants somebody that's going to come in and actually play. So I really honestly don't know. But as far as going for Baker, like I know that he's better than Sam, but for me it's the salary cap. Next year I forget how many millions we're already over the cap, and I know it's a fictitious number, but we need to get that number down. And adding somebody like Baker, well, yes, it doesn't add anything to next year, Okay, it also doesn't do us any favors for next year either.
Yeah.
And he's not enough of a difference maker to bring us to the Super Bowl, so I don't want him.
Twan, let me ask you a question, bro. You were a fan of Kenny Pickett leading up into the draft. What's the difference between a Baker Mayfield and a Kenny Pickett? Hey, I got you with that one. That's a good ass question, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's a good ass question, Twan. I got you with that one, bro. Come on, give it to me.
The hand size.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, other than hand size.
I think Kenny Pickett is going to be more talented than Baker. I think Kenny Pickett, he comes off to me like a guy that can lead a team, that his teammates are going to love and respect. You know what I'm saying? I knew the way Baker's attitude was in college that he wasn't going to leave it in college, and we got to see him on Hard Knocks in his first year in Cleveland, and I was like, this guy's going to be a problem. When I saw it on that, and then what he did with his coach and all of that, and I'm just like, this is not good. But as far as the Baker situation, I think it's 100%. I got to tell you, I think it's 100% Tepper. The reason why I say that is because Tepper would have already shut it down if he wasn't interested in Baker. I think he would have already shut that down. He already let him know I'm not spending money on that. And the fact that they're not wanting to take the money on with Cleveland and waiting out so long, that says David Tepper written all over it. It's money. It's financial at this point. And I think Tepper has his hands in it. Tepper saying, look, I want to roll with him if we can get him for what we want to get him for. But if Tepper didn't want him, then we wouldn't be discussing him. I wouldn't care if Scott or Rule wanted him. Tepper would have shut it down already. He'd have been like, you're not going out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. If he, he wanted Deshaun Watson, and we all know he wanted
vocalized.
Yeah. So that really is a good point.
I think all this Baker stuff will be shut down if Tepper didn't want him.
Yeah. Hey man, let me welcome my man Alex, all for Panthers, to the show. Alex, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, what up, fellas? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Chilling. Happy you could join us, man. Let me get you in on this. Tell me what you think about Baker Mayfield at this point in time. Do you think that this is Matt Rule trying to make this happen? Is it Fitterer? I've heard people say Rule. I've heard people say Fitterer. I haven't heard it, or not Fitterer, rather. I've heard Tepper a little. I've heard Rule. I haven't heard anyone say Scott Fitterer yet. Alex, what say you, man?
No, I don't think it's Fitterer, because I think Fitterer's kind of doing what he's like. His plan is kind of like what he did in Seattle. Like, he got Russell Wilson, 3rd rounder. You got Matt Corral, 3rd rounder. Like, I don't think it's Fitterer at all. It's definitely a mix of Rule and Tepper, just because, one, as you could see from like all the rumors and stuff, sense of urgency, like, is what they keep saying. Sense of urgency. They want to bring in Baker Mayfield, because obviously training camp's coming around the corner. He's got to learn the playbook. He's got to get over here and learn the playbook, learn his teammates. Like, that's definitely like a Rule. That's definitely more of a Rule thing, if you were to ask me. In my opinion. But yeah, I feel like it's a lot of moving parts, though. It's real tricky to make this move, because, one, like, I agree with Panther Pickle. Like, you can't really, you don't want to give up stuff. This is this is a player that Cleveland doesn't even want. Like, you want them to like release them, and then maybe you could pick them up that way. But like to like trade pieces, it makes no sense. Yeah. But see, the sense of urgency, that's got to be Matt Rule pushing that. That's my personal opinion. But
I agree. I think I truly believe if it was Scott Fitterer or even David Tepper, I believe it would have already happened by now, because I believe the only thing that's stopping this thing from happening yesterday was the fact of the 18 of Cleveland not wanting to pay the 18.5 million. They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay it.
But that has Tepper written all over it, because he controls the money.
Well, so does Scott Fitterer. I don't think Scott Fitterer wants him at all. I think Scott Fitterer's always said
I
he wanted to
agree.
draft a
I
quarterback.
agree. Scott
And-
ain't going to tell Tepper
No.
no at this point.
No, that's what I'm saying. Though, in my opinion, if Tepper wanted it, it would be easier for Tepper to just go out and get it to be done with it.
Nah, I actually agree with
mean-
Tepper now. He's like, I'm not going to pay for something that they don't want.
Yeah. Well, I just think that now I think what may could happen, I think, is maybe rules pushing it in Tepper's lap.
I agree.
Because Fitterer won't do it. Fitterer's like, well,
Yeah.
you know, if he's available, we get it. If the deal's right, we'll get him. But we're not paying 15 million. We're not paying 18 million. We're not paying 10 million. We're not paying 12 million. You know, we'll pay 5 million, and maybe we'll slide him a 6th round pick in there. But, you know, several Cleveland fans, and I don't know this, several Cleveland fans are telling me that Cleveland wants a 3rd round pick for him.
Oh,
least-
yeah.
Yeah. So
They're
That's
definitely not getting that.
No,
I haven't.
No.
So
No,
hold on.
I-
Let me. So hold on. Let me.
we don't have a 3rd round
let me-
pick
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have a 3rd
So-
round pick.
No.
All right, so let me go back to Anthony on this. Anthony, is like how much, like what is the proper amount of trade value for Baker Mayfield? Because that's another one of the parts of contention. Like they don't, how many picks that were given up, and apparently one of the biggest points of contention is that the Panthers want Browns to eat a large portion of his contract. And I don't know that the Browns are willing to do that. So, Anthony, like, how much is too much to give up for Baker?
The most we should be paying for him is $5 million because first off,
But I'm saying from like a draft picks perspective, like
oh,
if we're going to end up trading for him, like obviously we're going to have to pay some of his contract. We know that. But like, how much are we going to be giving up in return to get Baker Mayfield?
I would the best pick I would give them was a 6th round. Like I'm 6th or 7th
Never.
round. But they wouldn't do. The thing is, they're not going to do that because the Browns are they're such a bad ran organization. The way they just did this whole thing to Baker and like how they just paid Deshaun all this money and he won't even pay a snap. So like what they're trying to do is they're trying
That's
to get
beautiful. I love it.
They're trying to get
I absolutely love it.
They're trying to get the most for what they can. They're trying to play this waiting game to see if they can get like a lot out of us because we did the same shit with Sam Darnold. We traded 3 picks for an unproven QB. Well, at least Baker's proven something, but I think the most we should give up is pay him $5 million and a 6th round pick. Even throw Bobby Anderson in there too.
Yeah, that's also a name I've heard in a trade. Go ahead, White Chocolate.
I wouldn't give up Robbie in a 6th. I'll just give up the 6th. You take it or leave it.
Yeah, I'm not negotiating with the Cleveland Browns.
I don't think Robbie wants to. I don't know. I don't think Robbie wants to play with Baker. Like, I honestly don't think he does. I honestly think he doesn't.
No, we don't.
No, but like Cleveland's like that. Cleveland's like that guy. Cleveland's like that guy that drafts 2 quarterbacks in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Where you can only start one. It's like, come on, man. You don't trade with that guy. You let him hold on to those 3 or 4 quarterbacks on his team and then let him release them.
I wouldn't worry too much about what Robbie wants. And I like Robbie. Don't misunderstand that. But the bottom line is Robbie realized after he made that misunderstood tweet that he realized, likely by talking to his agent, that he would have to pay all his bonuses back to the Panthers.
He was trolling you guys, man. When you guys gonna figure that out?
So he just, I mean, the bottom line is Robbie ain't going nowhere this year, regardless.
He was never going to retire. He was trolling.
He's a troll.
And it doesn't matter if he wants to. What was
I said I was going to quit my job today.
Tony on Tuesday, and he's made a statements on Twitter that he believes that Robbie Anderson wants to be traded.
Yeah, what y'all think about that?
I don't. If we could get dependent to me as a personal nature, depending on what we could get for Robbie, I would like that. But you know, I haven't looked at the cap situation, what the other team would take or need or whatnot. But we have we still got a lot of needs. But it would, trading Robbie would still,
you wouldn't get back
in
worse.
a realistic world. Well, I'm talking about player. I'm not talking about pick. I don't think you get enough pick to make it happen. But because I think it would make our wide receiver room a little bit thin on experience.
Mm.
But
Yeah, and
you know,
also like for me, this conversation, part of it is the guy that I have up on screen.
yes,
I'm a
I
fan of
agree.
this kid. I'm a
I don't.
fan of this kid. And by the way, to everybody that listened to Matt Corral's press conference, dude, I love the way this young man carries himself. If I'm being real, I love the way that he says things. I love, looking at his film, going over some of the 2020 and 2021 tape. Like this guy, I feel, has a much bigger arsenal and a much bigger bag of tricks than people are giving him credit for, just because he was in that RPO offense over there at Ole Miss. He talked about a lot of the things that he still feels like he needs to do. He said he feels like he has all the physical tools to compete for a starting position, but knows the game is a lot about the mental aspect. It's something that he will focus on heavily during the break, which includes working on processing things quicker. So let me ask y'all this, man. What is the probability with, I don't care if it's Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. In fact, you can give me both of those. What is the actual probability of Matt Corral actually being able to compete for the starting job and winning the thing?
I think high.
If Sam is the only QB on the roster, Corral can run with it because Sam will last literally 2 or 3 games. I'm telling you right now, I do not believe in Sam, and that's the best case. Corral gets the starting job.
Man, Matt Rule. It keeps coming back to Matt Rule for me, man. Anybody with any common sense, to me, knows what to do. But with Matt Rule, you just never know with this guy, man.
He always says
never, ever know. He's just such a con artist. When he talks, you just never know if he's telling. He's a TV evangelist. When he first got here, I called him Reverend Rule, man. It's just you can't believe what he says. It's just you just can't.
David.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me take a moment and add our buddy Jay Cryer to the stream. Jay, what's up, brother?
How's it going, bro? You all right?
Yeah, doing good, man. How you doing?
White chocolate espresso.
I'm back in OD, so it's all good, mate. It's all good.
Nice, man.
Oh,
nice.
he's from England.
Yeah, man. This is our guy. Me and Jay and Tony, man. We all go back, man. Jay's a long-time fan. Jay, let me ask you this, man.
He's going to call me a bloke.
This Baker Mayfield situation, let me get you an opportunity to jump in on that. Like, where do you stand on Baker? And who in the organization is the one really pushing for this to happen, you think?
Well, probably Matt Rule, to be honest, because he needs to win this year. But I like Baker. Like I've said it all along, I think he's better than people give him credit for. His last year before he got injured was better than we've seen since 2015. So I like his attitude. I like that he's fiery, and I like Matt Corral. But I think you don't want to rush him in. I watched his press conference earlier. He's talking a lot about the mental side of it, and how he's adapting to that. I don't think he's coming in as a day one quarterback, so there's no point rushing him. I can't handle any more Sam, so Baker's the man for me. And if we can get a swap, a few extra then I'll be happy with that. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're gonna have to do something. So Sam that will come in, play the first however many games he needs to, and just fade into the background. Whereas Baker's not going to do that. So if I was them, I'd get rid of him as quick as possible. And I think he's a good fit for us. He's got a bit of attitude, a bit of swag, something that we've missed since Cam left. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Hey man, that's honest. Like you and Anthony kind of feel the same. Like again, I differ on this. Because it's like, to me, Baker Mayfield was on a really good football team, and I feel like he had a lot of issues. And I don't necessarily know that the Panthers trading for a quarterback with a lot of issues is a good look right now. I mean, I feel like
just think of it this way. What did the Panthers do when they brought Cam in? They got rid of Steve Smith, yeah, because quarterback's got to be your biggest personality. I watched the video yesterday of Jarvis and Odell. Like, Baker throws a touchdown, he has to go and put his arms around him and say, "Sorry, guys, you'll get yours." That I just think they were just against him because they weren't getting what they wanted, and I just think it must be hard for him if he's got two big personalities working against him. Whereas in Carolina, we don't really have that, do we? So I think he could come in, he could be top dog, and I honestly think he's a good player. Like, he came into the worst team that we've seen in a long time. He slowly built up. Yeah, he had a bad year last year, but he was injured. Look at what happened to Cam as soon as he got injured. Just dipped off, but Baker's young enough to recover. And I just think somebody like him with a point to prove is a dangerous man, and I'd rather he was, 1 year. What have we got to lose? If he's rubbish, we'll let him go. If he's brilliant, happy days.
Yeah, let me bring this conversation back to Matt Corral. I mean, is there?
Hey, Cody, can I just say one more thing about?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
About Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, do it.
I just feel like we're wasting a bunch of energy on this guy. Like, when we start talking about trading stuff, that's getting ridiculous. The guy's not gonna be. He's just he's a spare tire. He's not in our future. We're not gonna keep him. So why would we start trading stuff for this guy?
Antoine, what I
He's
said on our
only gonna
Tuesday
be
show.
here next year if he comes. If we ain't extending him.
And Antoine, what I said on our Tuesday show, not only does it muddy the waters as far as like who actually isn't going to be the starter, but in all the 3 years that Matt Rule has been here, we would have traded for a quarterback that nobody truly believes is a franchise quarterback. We went from Teddy Bridgewater, we dumped him after a year. Sam Darnold, and then we dumped him after a year. Like, I'm sorry if I'm not necessarily inclined to believe that Baker Mayfield is going to be different than that, man. Like, I mean, for being the number one pick in the draft, I don't think he compares to a Joe Burrow. I don't think he compares to a Justin Herbert. I don't think he compares to.
He ain't even a Gardner Minshew. So
I mean, bro, I mean, like, people got mad at me online, but I compare Baker Mayfield. I compared him to Case Keenum. Hell, Case Keenum and the Minnesota Vikings, they went 13-3 and made it to the playoffs one year. So it's like it just seems like the same thing over and over to me, man.
Well, Cody, we on the same page, Cody.
Well,
let me go to Nick real quick. Then we'll pass it around to Alex. Go ahead, Nick.
On top of that, man, who else is really going out there trying to get Baker? Okay,
no one
else. Exactly. So why are we trying to give up anything for him? Let him get cut or run with Sam.
Hey, Nick, let me ask you another question, Nick. Who was interested in Sam Darnold other than us?
No one.
No one.
Who was interested in Teddy Bridgewater other than us?
I'm sure there was somebody else because I'd rather have Teddy over Sam.
Yeah.
How about this? Nobody was interested.
We signed
as much
Teddy
as
in
we
free
were.
agency.
Yeah,
but I do have one question for everybody.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I'm sorry, Nick.
No, it's all good. I do have one question for everybody. What does McAdoo think about Baker? Because nobody has brought up McAdoo, and McAdoo is the one in charge of the offense.
McAdoo is just happy to have a job, bro.
No,
McAdoo, back when it was drafted, McAdoo thought the same thing of Baker Mayfield as he did Sam Darnold. And now, in my opinion, our illustrious head coach is trying to sack that poor man with both feet.
Yeah, and that's a great point that Kenneth makes. Because that is true. At the time, Ben McAdoo, when he was still a coach with the Giants, bro, everybody was throwing tomatoes at him when he said that he didn't think that Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were worthy of being number one picks. And he said he would have taken Josh Allen. Now, at the time, that seemed outlandish. But now, that man's looking pretty good, isn't he? So, I really don't think that a lot of I don't think Ben McAdoo wants anything to do with Baker Mayfield. I think Ben McAdoo, and we know this, they confirmed this, Ben McAdoo was a huge part of the reason why the Panthers drafted Matt Corral. I see him fighting for Matt Corral more than I do him fighting for a Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
because Corral plays in his offense.
Yeah. Wait, who just did someone just say my name?
No,
Yeah,
I thought I heard my name. Yeah, go ahead.
I just have for everyone that how many wins do you have? I feel like you don't get a quarterback.
Hey Anthony, you might have to Anthony, you might have to come out and then come back in because you're
it's
all
R2, the R2D2.
yeah, it's hard to hear your R2D2 voice.
Yeah, but Cody, what I was gonna say was, as far as like the Baker thing and everything, like, yeah, we're not gonna trade anything for him. Makes no sense. That's why at the end of the day, I've always said, like, if we are gonna have a QB competition here in Carolina, if that's really the case, the only real fit there is Cam Newton. Honestly,
Thank you.
That's the only real actual fit. Other than that, you're not going to trade for Baker. You're not going to trade for Jimmy G. I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, though, if you're going to have a QB competition, that's the only fit. That's all.
Let me tell you. Real quick. Let me tell you why I totally agree with White Chocolate on that. This is what Carolina doesn't understand. It seems to me since Matt Rule and been here. If you get a if you have a starting quarterback, right? Common sense says that your backup quarterback has to play or emulate him. You can't have a backup quarterback that runs a totally different offense or can't do the things that your starting quarterback can do.
They did that the whole time under Cam, though, didn't they?
You pair up Cam Newton with the rookie. They ran similar offenses in college, and they're gonna run a similar offense with McAdoo. I don't understand having these quarterbacks that can't do what the first quarterback can do. It's gonna kill your playbook.
Yeah, that would be like having Gardner Minshew back up Lamar Jackson. That don't make no sense. Yeah, that don't make no sense.
What's gonna happen?
Well, that's what they did when Cam was a rookie, though. Well, that's what they did Cam's first few years. They had Derek Anderson, the statue Derek Anderson, backing him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They also had what was the guy that did special teams and he occasionally could do wide receiver?
Joe Webb.
Webb was more like Cam than Anderson.
Joe Webb was one of the lamest things I always thought one of the lamest things they ever did. The Raiders had a guy named Terrell Pryor. Who for the Raiders looked good. I always thought they could have got him to be a backup. I just thought that it would be something, a running guy. Joe Webb would have been a good, decent backup besides, no disrespect to Derek Anderson. I always thought that was dumb.
Terrell Pryor, he was a quarterback at Ohio State.
Yes.
So, yeah, exactly. I get that. I get that. The guy for the Browns, not Jacoby Brissett, Josh Dobbs.
Yes.
I really wanted the Panthers to draft him the year that he came out.
Yeah.
I thought that he would have been a perfect
backup. I think he's underrated. I don't think he's
some of the guy at Tennessee.
Yeah.
I
don't think he's getting
a literal rocket science.
Scientist from Tennessee. I don't think he's getting a fair treatment by the NFL. The Steelers traded him to the Jaguars the day, and then McAdoo happened to be quarterbacks coach there too, and they ended up letting they traded him. Steelers traded him to Jacksonville middle of the year after the quarterback went down, but they went ahead and let Gardner Minshew finish the year out. Then they ended up releasing him, and he went back to the Steelers, and then he signs with the Browns. So I think he could be a good quarterback if somebody gave him an opportunity.
So let me ask y'all this. I want to bring it to Matt Corral. Because, look, man, ain't no shame in my game. I'm excited for the Rook. I want to see him. This is just my personal opinion. I don't believe that if you force a rookie quarterback to play his rookie season, I don't think you're going to break him. And by the way, even if he has a dog shit year and it's just terrible.
Mhm.
I think that if your rookie season breaks you, I don't think you're meant to make it in the NFL. And that's just being honest. Like, I look at all the quarterbacks, and granted, they were first round quarterbacks. I understand that. But like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac
All
Jones,
rookies. All rookies.
they're all rookies and they had to start.
And
by
most of them
and
played
by the
on
way,
horrible teams.
but right, you can make the case that the Panthers have a much better foundation for Matt
Exactly.
Corral than any of those teams had for their quarterbacks.
And then
Now,
that's when you bring up Mac Jones, Cody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was probably the worst of all those quarterbacks. But when you put him with a team with talent, you saw what he did.
Right.
Look at Texans.
And by the way, look at Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott a couple of years ago. I mean, he was a later round pick,
Cody.
And for whatever reason, he ended up having to play his first season, and he was
Cody,
able to do well. Go ahead, Jay.
I got to jump, bro. But yeah, me and you obviously we was disagreeing about this in a week. I personally, I think if you get a quarterback that's got the mental side of it, then you can throw him in at the start. But I don't think Matt Corral has. He scored low on his tests. He seems to be more of a naturally gifted kind of person than
we don't care about Wonderlic tests.
So,
hey, he's allowed. I hear you. Go ahead, Jay.
But I just think he's one of those people that potentially probably benefit from a year off. But I'm not saying one size fits all. I think it's a case by case, and I think he's the kind of person that needs a year. But that doesn't mean I don't believe that another team could draft someone and throw them right in and they won't do well. And I don't think he's got a bad team around him this year. I just think that if you look at the bigger picture, take a year off and even if you have to go with Sam for a year, look at the big picture, and hopefully we've got a guy there for the next 10, 15 years. So, but I've got to go, boys, anyway. Peace, everyone.
Jay, I appreciate you, man. Enjoy Ibiza, man.
Later,
cheers, bro. See you later.
Yeah, later, man.
Cody.
Peace and love. Yeah, appreciate Jay for coming on. White Chocolate, what's up? Whoever just said my
White
name.
chocolate
Anthony,
expressive.
all right, that's Anthony. What's up, Anthony?
I just wanted to go back to what you said about Russell Wilson and Dak. Well, so Russell was so good that he beat out Matt Flynn, but he was also in a really good situation. Like, he had the Legion of Boom, he had some decent receivers, and Dak Prescott was he only started because Tony Romo got injured. So they weren't even planning on him being the starter that year. So, like, when you go back to, like I don't mind throwing Corral in there. It's just I'm assuming all of you guys want to win. Like, we want to have a winning season. So I just feel like if we roll with the roster we have now, they're telling us fans that we're going to lose this season. Just because I feel like the longer we keep Sam in there, the more games he's going to lose us.
See, to me,
lose either way.
So hold on. Let me kind of add to Anthony real quick. So basically, you're saying that Baker Mayfield, it's almost just as much optics because you don't have any proven quarterback on the roster.
Yeah,
now, Matt Corral might be great, but we have no tangible evidence of that.
Yeah, and Baker, what I'm trying to say is Baker has proven to be good with a good team. Like, once you guys want to, make a playoff run with, like, Baker playing with CMC, DJ Moore, and Baker has an arm. So, I mean, I just feel like he would be able to actually open up the over-the-top defense. I mean, over-the-top offense. I feel like we could just make a run. But, I mean, that's just me. Like, if we get him and he sucks, I mean, worst case, Matt Rule's fired and we get a top pick next year. So, I mean,
if I may throw something out, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't call Jason. I don't call Baker. All day I keep wanting to call him Jason Baker. Lord, I don't know why.
Oh, after this, I have to tell y'all a story. But
anyway, if Baker was just setting a free agency, it would be a no-brainer to me, okay? But my sticker point is what we given up for him. Because if you compare Baker to Sam, however you want to look at it, Baker's a little better than Sam. Maybe not a lot better, but a little better.
Right.
But is Baker good enough to put more money and more picks into? I don't think so. If Cleveland was more of a realistic organization that you could deal with, it would be a little bit easier to deal with. But Cleveland's not. Cleveland's setting up there thinking they have all the cards. They have an elite stud quarterback on their hands that they're trying to give away to somebody, and they want all they can get. And you got to pay at least all or most of that $18 million. And Sam's not making $2 million this year. Sam's making $18.5 million. You add $18.5 million plus $18.5 million. Are you going to give that what you want to give for 2 quarterbacks?
And by the way, Kenneth, 2 quarterbacks who are only on a 1-year deal.
Exactly.
So how many people? And that's another thing. If Baker comes here, I think there's a good chance that they just sign him to an extent. Are you really going to pay that much for another lease on a 1-year quarterback?
Well,
I don't think they would do it. I think if they traded for him,
Yeah.
it would be with the idea of him being our franchise quarterback.
But
Cody,
if you're
You're not winning
Baker
games, so you might as well
Mayfield,
put the rookie out.
if you're Baker Mayfield, why would you sign that extension though?
Yeah.
Well,
If Baker
hold on.
Mayfield,
So
and
let
you
me- yeah,
come,
so that-
if you come in and you know for a fact that you're better than any other quarterback on Carolina's roster, and you come in and you put up the numbers and you do what people say, with all due respect, you take us to the playoffs, then
he deserves
you're going for payday city, because somebody out there somewhere is going to say, okay, it wasn't Baker Mayfield, it was Cleveland Browns. That could be an elite quarterback. We got to give that guy some money. Somebody's going to go out and want to sign him in free agency if he escapes the free agency. If anything less, Baker's going to sit there and say, you want me, pay me the money, or can't franchise me.
And by the way, that kind of seems in line with his personality.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So Anthony wanted to say something too. Let me get him in on this. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, no, what Kenneth was saying, I like the points he was making, because he's right. If we ever picked up Sam's 5th-year option, we'd be in such a different situation this year, where we could just roll with Corral or do whatever we had to do. But the thing about, I was listening to
make me
Baker
cry.
on a
Please don't remind me.
Baker went on a podcast about a month ago, and he was telling his friends that were talking to him. He was saying I have a chip on my shoulder. I want to go to a team and prove it. And if I don't get re-signed there, I'm just looking for another contract. So I think he has more to prove than anyone in the league this year, just because of all the shit he's been through. And when you look
Deshaun Watson has more to prove, but that's just
well,
that's
Deshaun
a
Watson
whole
probably won't see
that's
the field.
Yeah, that's a whole nother bag of worms. But before, so I'm about to add one of our next guests. But before I do, I'm talking to my mom earlier today, and she's asking me what the show is going to be about this afternoon. And she's like, are y'all going to be talking about Buster Mayfield again?
Yeah, she got it right.
I'm about to die, yo. She called him Buster Mayfield. Bro, I swear to God, I might never call him any other shit for the rest of my life.
You're going to call the Panthers quarterback.
Hey,
what you're
that's
do.
Buster Hey, even if he is the Panthers quarterback,
He is. He's gonna get it.
That's Buster Mayfield from now to the end of his days, bro. I'm sorry.
We trade for it.
If we trade anything for that guy, the Carolina Panthers still not learned their lesson, bro. And then you guys have to know it's this regime. Ever since Tepin Rule and all them got here, they keep making horrible fucking mistake after horrible mistake. These guys don't have a fucking clue. They need to just get out of Scott's way and let them just roll.
Can I throw this out there?
Trade for a 1-year rental?
Yeah, let me throw
With
this
a
out
bad attitude?
Let's get this right. Jonathan Jones and Josina Anderson are the only 2 people basically reporting the Panthers are still in negotiations, are looking at Baker. Let's be honest. They're the only really ones reporting. Other articles and other sites have it, but if you go and actually detail read those, they refer to one of them or they say per sources. We know the sources. Okay, now, so are these not the same people that said the Panthers' top pick was going to be Kenny Pickett? Are these not the same people
Yeah, I
that
don't
told
listen to
you
reporters
that?
anymore,
I
man.
mean, aren't these the folks that flat out told you that the Panthers was the only destination for Watson? The
Well, Kenny,
same
I mean,
reporters told you
reporters,
this.
Kenny,
So
reporters, their job is to get you hyped up of
yeah,
what they
yeah,
say.
and agents get paid a lot of money to hype their own players up.
Yeah.
And right now,
They do.
it's easy for an agent to call another agent, say, leak something for me, and it happens.
That's
And
how it
right
works.
now, there's a lot of gullible reporters out there who are just itching to leak something.
Hey, so real quick, hold on, real quick, before we go any further, let me add this man to the stream. You know it ain't a real party until this man shows up. G baby, what it is, bro?
Hey man, what's Gucci with you motherfuckers, man? You know who's in this bitch. What's good, boys?
We chilling, bro. We chilling, bro. Hey man,
Hey,
let me
I'm
ask you
feeling
this.
elevated, man. Hey, shout out to that light-skinned babyface assassin, Steph Curry, man. He won me 3 racks last night, bro.
Oh shit, you up?
Shout out to Steph, man.
But
up
hey,
right
look,
now. I like that.
everybody knows who G Baby looks like on that team, though, right?
Who?
Jordan Poole.
You look just like fucking Poole, bro.
Hey, man, I'll take it.
Shit, I'd like to have that Jordan Poole money. I'll fucking tell you that.
G-Baby pulling up from
It's gonna be a pool party every night.
G Baby, for the record, I'm not trying to get nothing started, but Steph wasn't the MVP.
Man, we are not about to talk about no
He
damn
wasn't.
basketball on the Friday.
He
free
wasn't.
for
He
all,
wasn't
dog.
MVP.
Nah,
He
man,
wasn't
we're
MVP
talking
was,
about.
bro.
No, man, this
When did he
podcast.
get MVP on
Nah,
that team?
this podcast is about Buster Ass Mayfield. That's what this podcast is about.
I had to get it out.
It's Buster Mayfield. That's what's on the docket for the day. Gee, I want to ask you this, man. Who in the organization is making this push for Baker Mayfield? Is it David Tepper? Is it Matt Rule? Like, why do we keep hearing about this shit, bro?
Man, that shit is Matt Rule, bro.
Yep, that's it. It's all Matt
This
Rule.
whole listen to this,
Matt Rule
man.
don't have. If Matt Rule still had his power that he had this time last year, Baker Mayfield would already be here, and we would paying Sam and Baker Mayfield $18.5 million apiece.
Yeah, go ahead on that, dude. Tell me why you think it's Matt Rule.
Bro, this whole front office is got to get the fuck out of Carolina, bro.
I just said it.
I don't think no, listen, Cody Lack, bro.
Except Scott.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Listen, G.
Go ahead, man.
This is unacceptable, bro. We're a clown show, bro. We're a clown show, G. And I don't want to fucking hear about no fucking Baker Mayfield, no fucking more, bro. And whoever supports him is a straight bitch, bro, because that don't make no sense to me, bro. That don't make no sense to me, especially when he threw the team that drafted number 1 overall underneath the bus and was a cancer inside the locker room, and you want to bring him to the clown show organization in fucking Carolina. So basically, the clown show is Carolina, right? We're a circus, right? And the best fucking clown to bring would be Baker Mayfield, bro. It would be the perfect. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, I think your son wants to shout out.
Full clown show.
I mean, let me tell you. I
here's
mean,
the other
look, like,
thing.
I'm
like,
sick
I
of
mean,
talking about Baker Mayfield.
hey, man, let me tell you this, man. Like, you know, G Baby says that shit with a lot of passion, but I mean, I understand why he feels like that, and especially in light of what the Panthers have done the past 2 seasons. Like I said, we've done this 2 years in a row, man. And like the fact that we're considering doing this again, I don't know, man. It's just crazy to me. I understand why some people like it, but I'm on Team Money Matt Corral side. I just think that prevents us from seeing what we have in the rookie. And by the way, like, I also want to bring this up too. Like, okay, if the Panthers are picking top 10 next year, I don't care if we traded up for Matt Corral. that's not going to prevent us from drafting a quarterback next year.
You're exactly right.
Hey, Cody, like, I'm so glad you said that, G. I'm so glad you said that because this is the last time I'm gonna fucking say this shit. We are a 2-win team, okay? We're a 2-win team. I'm sick of the positivity, man. No, let's be real, bro.
I'm sick of the positivity.
G Baby's right though. Like we have the worst quarterback room in the league. It's just too unproven.
If we are only a 2-win team, then shut everything down and come back next year.
Yes.
There's no use to talk. There's no use to run your mouth.
We ain't no
There's use to
fucking
have
2-win. We ain't no damn 2-win team.
No use.
Well, we're a 2-win. Okay, this is my thing. Pee Wee. Why isn't Pee Wee beating out? Why can't Pee Wee beat out Sam Darnold and PJ Walker if he's got this tremendous arm, all this shit?
Because we
G-Baby,
ain't had training camp yet.
wait. G-Baby, how do you know that he won't? He hasn't even started training camp yet, and apparently,
what about minicamp? What about OTAs?
He's been looking better than everyone. Matt Corral's been out there dropping dimes, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I understand y'all don't know what we have in Matt Corral, but just because you don't know a lot about him, it doesn't mean that just because he was in an RPO offense that he can't adapt to this shit quicker than he's given credit for, man. I don't think Matt Corral is as behind the curve as you're making it sound. Now, I can't prove that to you, and I understand that shit. But, bro, I have more than one
G-Baby can't prove it either.
Be happy about
When's the last time we went 500?
With Cam.
Hey, man,
what does that have to do with this?
Wait, hold on. Hey, let me add my man Brad to the stream. Brad, what's going on, bro?
Hey, G-Baby, I got to get with you personally and take your fucking money.
Hold on. Let me intro my man Brad. Brad, what's going on, bro? Talk to us, man.
Not much. I just figured I'd pop in, see how you guys are doing. Excited for a long weekend, so.
Nice, man. Hey, jump in on this. Kind of do everything, man. Talk about Baker Mayfield, Matt Corral. Just where's your head at, and who's the one driving all of this?
So I think the reality is if we're still talking about Baker, that tells you everything we need to know about what the coaches think of Matt Corral at this point.
Coach.
Right? If they don't think that he's ready to go, if they don't feel like he's providing enough competition for Sam Darnold that they need to go get Baker Mayfield, and that tells me right now that at this point Matt Corral is a non-factor as far as this team is concerned for next year. I mean, that's just a reality.
Bro, it's just one coach. Like I keep saying, coaches. It's just one. It's one coach. Say his name, Matt Rule. It's
right,
one.
But it doesn't matter. That man, Matt Rule has 100% of the control when it comes to the roster and all the decisions made.
Not anymore.
That's bullshit. Jonathan Alexander from the Charlotte Observer has said multiple times. At the end of the day, it is still in his contract. He has 100% control on the roster.
Not anymore. We know it. We know otherwise.
Pushing for Baker.
Matt Rule is on his fucking way out. He knows it.
Of the roster he's presented with. But if Scott Fitter says I'm not trading for Baker Mayfield, then you ain't trading for him.
See, I'm right there, Pickle. And then this is shit that's getting me fucking frustrated too, man. And this is just knowing fucking football, man. Then what the fuck did Tepper hire Scott for? If you're just gonna let Matt Rule keep making dumbass mistakes. Scott comes from a winning program, man. Matt Rule comes from a college program, and he hasn't done shit right since he's been here. Why would you keep listening to Rule?
But on the flip side of that, they hired Scott Fitterer comes from a system much like what they want to implement in Carolina, right? They want a coach who has the majority of the roster decisions. The coach says, I want this player. It's up to the GM then to execute the deal and figure it out. No. That's exactly what happens in Seattle. The GM, John Schneider, does not have roster control. Pete Carroll does. And Pete Carroll was a college coach.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, and I know we're not even putting Pete Carroll and Matt Rule in the same sentence.
No, we're not. We're
not trying to compare them. We're just saying that it's the same organizational structure.
I think if you're going to talk about Scott, there's no way you can compare him.
again, it's not comparing Matt Rule to Scott to Pete Carroll. We're just saying that that's the organizational structure that Tepper envisioned when he brought him in. That's not. It's not. We're not trying to compare the two. That's
Hey guys, how
non-argument.
long has Tepper been our owner, the owner of the team?
5 years.
Too fucking long, bro.
Okay, let me ask you this: how long?
Wait, hold on. What was his first year? 2000.
I think it was 4 years now. I think it's
2019.
18. It was 2018.
Yeah, it was 18.
You're right.
It was
2018.
So how long has Matt Rule been head coach?
Too long.
For what? 4 of those years?
This will be 3 years.
Or
This
no,
will be
3
year
of
3.
those years. Yeah, this will be year 3.
And how many years have we had no quarterback?
All of them. All of them. I mean, even when we had Cam when he was hurt.
So one thing we know for sure is our owner has no fucking experience, and the head coach has no experience. They finally went and got Scott, who has experience. Matt Rule, even if he does have some type of power, he just shouldn't. And then look, let me remind you of something else with Matt Rule. Matt Rule told Scott when he came here, I want to see if the Giants will match what you're going to be, this ridiculous money you're already paying.
Yeah.
Carolina wasn't even Matt Rule's first choice, boys.
He wasn't.
Wait, hold on. I got a question for Brad. Don't you think though it's a little bit premature to say what Corral, like if he is or isn't going to be a factor in this quarterback hunt thing? Like, okay, if you want to say that the coaches aren't going to give him a chance, I would be apt to believe you based on how he treated Christensen and Deontay Brown last year. So yeah, I get that. But like, what if, Matt Corral said he's going to be jumping in the playbook for the next 5 weeks? What if he comes to camp just ultra prepared and he's just slinging the rock around the football field? Like, is there any chance at all that Matt Corral could just be undeniable to the point where our coaches have?
Of course there's a chance. Of course there's a chance, Cody. You know that.
I don't. Go ahead, Brad. Here's the thing, right? And like I said, I don't mean to be negative, but if you look at the list of quarterbacks who were taken in the 3rd round that led their team to Super Bowls and won them, the list isn't long. There's like 4 guys on it. I can't remember all of them, but it's like Russell Wilson. All I'm saying is it's not a long list. So that being said, like, I think that if they Matt Rule said straight up in his pressers this last week that if they were going to wait until after OTAs to make their decisions when it came to the roster, if they are in a position where they're still thinking about trading for Baker Mayfield, first and foremost, if they were going to do it, they should have fucking done it like a week ago. They should have just pulled
weeks ago.
Right. So the fact that they're still talking about this speaks to the gross level of incompetence that I think this front office.
These guys just refuse to tell y'all that they don't know what they're doing.
Cody,
hold on.
Who just said my name?
I did. I just wanted to point something out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. Dude, the reason we're in this predicament is because Tepper didn't fire Matt Rule last year. Matt Rule's doing this bullshit to save his job. That's the whole reason why they're still talking to Baker Mayfield. Like, if Matt Rule was fired and we had a different coach with a different plan installated, then we would know, like, what's going on with the quarterback room, this and that.
Right.
So I still think Matt Rule's the one that's pulling these strings.
Right.
And Matt Rule didn't do shit at Baylor, man. If you go watch Baylor right now, they're playing better than ever, man. They're actually playing better than what they were when Matt Rule was coaching.
When people keep saying what he did for Baylor, I'm like, it's in Texas, bro.
It was one season.
Cody, to answer your question, to answer your question, of course, Corral has a chance to start, especially if we have the 2 quarterbacks on our team now. So of course,
I think that as long as we have 2 quarterbacks on this team, then that's probably the case. I think but like I said, if they're thinking of bringing in Baker Mayfield, that's because that leads me to believe that the people in the front office, the people on that coaching staff, don't believe that Corral can push Sam Darnold enough to either get him to rise to the next level or beat him outright for the job.
I disagree with that.
Hey, real quick, man. Real quick. Anthony's got to leave. Anthony, I appreciate you jumping on, brother. I know it was kind of quick notice. I had to get some Baker Mayfield fans in the chat, or else it would be a one-sided fucking conversation, bro. So
I'll be
I definitely appreciate you jumping on here, man.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like, boys, I wouldn't be pulling for Baker Mayfield, but we're such a shit show at this point, man. I'm just trying to win some football games. Like,
I hear you, brother.
So yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
C3 forever, baby. All right, I'll see y'all.
I love that. Peace and love, Anthony. Safe driving, brother.
We're gonna win 9 games.
We're not gonna win 9 games.
With who?
It won't even be close. We're not gonna win 9 games.
I already told you.
How many games?
2 to 4.
I got 9 games.
I got 7.
How can you say that though, G? When we haven't had more than 6 wins with Matt Corral, with Matt Rule.
We're saying it because we won 5 games with a worse team.
This team is okay. All right.
This 7. I got 7 because we didn't have McCaffrey most of the year last year,
and we're not going to have him most of the year. And we're not going to have him most of the year this year. I mean, people need to
y'all
got
out
to
of y'all damn mind. Y'all are out of y'all minds. Y'all think McCaffrey's at full speed all year.
Y'all just too damn negative.
Back. I mean, there's a lot of things y'all are overlooking.
Wait. I gotta read this first. Nick just sent this to me, and I want us to all kind of react. But I also want to, but I'm gonna let Nick go on it first. But I'm gonna read it, and then we'll get into it. So, and by the way, I don't believe none of this shit just off the jump. So Sam Darnold admitted the transition. Sam Darnold admitted the transition from college to the pros was a huge jump, and the fifth-year quarterback says he has helped Corral work through the process. While acclimating to the pros, Corral has shadowed Darnold's behavior. I'm just picking up on his habits. Corral said the way he goes about himself and the way he carries himself from the media, on the field, off the field, certain situations, taking stuff from him, whatever it is, and trying to implement it into my game. If I feel like it doesn't fit, then I won't use it. But there are some things I just take away from him. Now, my opinion, real quick, dude, this is just him being a good rookie fucking teammate.
Exactly.
Matt Corral knows that Sam Darnold is dumpster juice. There's no man, dude. He's trying to be the best version of himself.
Bum juice, Cody.
So that way he can fucking win this starting job. I'm gonna let Nick go on this, and then I'm gonna introduce our next guest. Go ahead, Nick.
So I got that off of Panther Nation on Facebook. Someone had posted that up. I feel like if that was actually true, more people would be sharing that. So I just want to lead with that. I don't know how true it is. Now, if what that is saying is true, that just goes to show that Matt Corral isn't ready right now. And I really don't want Matt Corral learning from Sam Darnold. It's nice to know the things that you shouldn't do, but that's not. Matt Rule doesn't have enough wherewithal to tell Matt Corral, like, hey, don't do this. And on top of that, would we really be talking about Baker Mayfield if Sam Darnold was as good as the coaches have let him out to believe or let us out?
Yeah, that's another thing. If our coaches like him, that's not necessarily an endorsement. At least from Matt Rule's perspective.
We trying to get hyped over a 3rd-round quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like I said, the list is not long.
I'm getting tired of y'all saying this 3rd round quarterback.
But hold on.
He was.
First, let me.
Last time he got hyped for a 3rd rounder.
No. Hold on, everybody stop. Everybody stop. We're about to have this conversation in full. We're definitely about to have this conversation. But let me first add one of the 4 horsemen to the podcast. My brother Greg, the Bat Daddy. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I hope everybody here is too. Look,
hey, my boys in the chat. Hey, this is the first time I've been on with you, dog. What's good? Let's go.
What's up? So check it out. So normally I'd be doing my show tonight. I'd be getting ready for it, but we actually decided to move it to tomorrow night because we had some stuff come up. So I was just kind of bored, and I was like, I'll check out some news, and I typed up Panthers news, and we mentioned this. We mentioned this in the chat the other day, and y'all may have already spoken about it. I'm not sure, but I swear they listened to the C3 Panthers podcast on Tuesday nights because I didn't hear nobody saying nothing about Robbie Anderson being part of this trade for Baker Mayfield. Yeah. And as soon as I type in the Carolina Panthers, the first thing comes up is Carolina's close to a deal trading Robbie Anderson for Baker Mayfield.
What?
Round pick. Yep.
I heard
It's
they're
Robbie Anderson and a 5th round pick. And they're going to take the base salary for Robbie Anderson. We take the base salary for Baker
Where
Mayfield.
are you hearing that?
Bro, hold on, bro.
Hang on.
I'm about to lose my motherfucking mind, bro.
Let me send it. This is a thing called heavy.com. It just popped up in my Google. I have no idea how
All right, send it to
legit
me.
this
And
is.
then,
Let me send it and share.
Send it to me.
So
And then we'll assess it.
the Robbie trade makes sense, but not the pick.
But I didn't hear nothing about that until we mentioned it on the C3 Panthers podcast. And then 2 days later, bam, Robbie Anderson.
I'm not finding anything that corroborates that.
It's so fucking
All right, no.
stupid.
So no. We're gonna do that. No, but let's do that. I don't want to get away from that. First off, let me add CPG to the show. CPG, what's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody?
Chilling, man. Happy to have you on the show. Hey, listen, I want to do this now, man. So, we gotta talk about this, man.
I said it in the
all right, Brad and my man White Chocolate, they're like, "Oh, you're being too optimistic about a 3rd round quarterback." Well, okay, look, I get your point, but at the same time, like, why do I have to judge a man based on what another man who came before him couldn't do? Like, why do I have to judge him about next to a bunch of ain't shit motherfuckers that have never made it in the NFL? Like,
just tell me this,
why am I
Cody.
not allowed to be happy about that skill set?
Sam was the 1st round quarterback.
Well, let's just take out the fact. I understand that there are people, right? But I'm not talking about people. I'm just talking about historically, statistically, what 3rd round quarterbacks have not like. You got Nick Foles, you've got Russell Wilson. I mean, there's a couple others in there, but there's not many 3rd round quarterbacks that have led their teams to the promised land and won the chip. I mean, that's just the reality.
Wasn't Tom Brady a 6th round pick?
There's a lot of idiots who do the drafting that shit.
Well, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm saying name another team before a preseason, even before training camp, that they're hyped on a 3rd round quarterback.
Hey, Cody,
Seattle Seahawks 2012.
Hey, Cody, can I ask you
2012.
And that's what everybody's hoping that this is. It's another
If you've
2012.
watched the experts break his tape down, they say that he could have easily, in any other draft, probably been a 1st round pick.
That's great, but he was a 3rd. Nobody gets hyped over a 3rd rounder before training camp.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of Tennessee fans overhyped for Malik Willis.
There's a lot
massive amounts hyped up.
The reality is, if Matt Corral was in next year's draft, in the 2023 draft class, he wouldn't even be in the same breath as the top 4 guys. That's just the reality.
Let me tell you guys, for the guys that keep saying stuff about 3rd rounds. And this was a quote that somebody hit me with on my show, and I had to go look, and I was just like, damn, it makes sense. 92% of all quarterbacks that's ever played in the NFL don't take their teams to the Super Bowl. Y'all got to get off this round shit.
I'm just not hyped on a 3rd round quarterback.
Not to mention,
in the 1st round, 90% of the time you're not taking your team to a Super Bowl.
hey, not to mention, Jake Delhomme took us to one, and he was undrafted.
Foles took. I mean, I know he ain't doing it all by himself. I'm trying to, guys. It's about fit, and sometimes a little luck and desire and the right coaches. It ain't got shit to do with where you've been picked most of the time, bro.
I'm just saying, name a time where people were hyped on the 3rd round quarterback.
Today with you analytical.
Exactly, man. Like, just because it doesn't happen often, like, to then say, okay, well, the likelihood of it happening isn't great, so therefore it can't. Like, that's a flawed analysis there, man. Like, and this is what I'm saying. And by the way, I said this earlier too. This is why, even if you're not, so like for Brad and Kevin, like, even if y'all don't, if you're not optimistic about Matt Corral,
I am.
That's all. Okay, but what I'm saying, even if you're not, that even if they go into this year, you should want to see Matt Corral play. Because if the Panthers are picking in the top 10 next year, that Matt Corral is not going to stop them from drafting a quarterback. So it's like, why draft Matt Corral and have him be a wasted pick just to draft another quarterback next year? Like,
look at the front office, Cody Lack. We have idiots in the front office, G.
That's true.
Okay. But G, baby, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all well, it's kind of redundant for me to say this because this front office is dumb.
I'm going to do after 20.
Why in the hell would you go get another quarterback in next year's draft when you gave away your 3rd round pick to get Corral?
Because he's a 3rd round pick.
I can answer that for you, Twan, because there's levels to this shit, G. And CJ Stroud and Bryce fucking Young are going to be there staring us straight in the fucking face, and that's generational type fucking talent, bro. They have that hit factor, bro.
Generational talent.
Yes, they are, Cody.
No, he's not.
To the Super Bowl.
Bryce Young is not a generational talent.
I'm going to be honest with you, though.
Neither one of those guys.
At Ohio State's pro day, the most impressed I was with any player was Stroud. I mean, honestly, and he wasn't even showing out. He was just throwing his wide receivers footballs. I mean, that's just the reality.
That's why he's one of the top guys. But hold on, I told Kenneth I'd go to him next. Kenneth, what's cooking on your mind with this, man?
A few years ago, the Panthers drafted this quarterback in the 3rd round.
Will Greer.
Let me talk. I thought it was a pretty decent pick. Okay, I wasn't all hyped about it. I wasn't overly going about it. I would have picked somebody else in that proposal, but I don't do the picking. So, I voiced my opinion that I wouldn't have took him, but yeah, okay, it's good depth, I guess. That was my thought process going. Yeah. People all over social media, all over Twitter, all over Facebook, some fans I see in the chat, some fans here now, we're going through this, literally going off the deep end. Why did they draft a quarterback in the 3rd round? They're trying to replace Cam Newton. That's what it is. They're using this son of a bitch, Will Greer, to replace Cam Newton. Massive amounts of people freaked their fuck out over that one incident. So if you're going to be overhyped about picking a 3rd, why not be hyped about it picking a 3rd? Exactly. Frankly speaking, if it fits your team, be hyped about a 7th round pick.
I think Corral's got a ton more upside than Greer ever had.
You're right. I agree.
It's about upside. It's about fit. It's about.
Name another team that's gotten hyped over.
Have you seen McAdoo's track record with quarterbacks recently?
That's great. What team has been excited about?
If you feel like the best quarterback there is, and he doesn't fit, y'all won't win.
That's a great point, man. And I really do think that the RPO system. I think Ben McAdoo is going to have no problem implementing plays that would make Matt Corral very comfortable. And by the way, we're also not just going to pretend like, okay, everybody likes to talk about Robbie Anderson and him being a diva, whatever. Bro, I don't care what Robbie Anderson says. When you actually get a quarterback that can throw the ball downfield, that's when you will see the best of Robbie Anderson. That's when you will see the best of DJ Moore. That's when you see the best of Christian McCaffrey, man.
Hold on, I got a question for Bad Daddy real quick, man. You had brought up that trade scenario, G. That's legit.
What I actually pulled up,
because if we trade Robbie, who the fuck are gonna catch these fucking balls, bro?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. I mean,
DJ.
Can I just say, DJ's production did not fall off last year, but Robbie's did.
Guys, let's try and go one at a time. Let's go, Greg, and then we'll go to CPG.
Okay, that actually, when I was looking it up, I rushed to that. When I was looking at that's actually a reporter's proposal. It's not something that the Panthers are close to doing. It's like if they were to, so it's not anything official. It's just like I said, it popped up in my Google. So,
right here.
But it's just funny that I didn't hear anything about this until we started talking about it. Is why I found it so funny reading this. But no, I mean, even if we traded Robbie Anderson, there's still there's wide receivers out there we could go get. There's other guys. Terrence Marshall's still here to catch the ball. Christian McCaffrey catches more balls every year than Robbie Anderson could dream of.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too worried about losing 600 yards and 4 touchdowns or whatever he did last year.
Well, to be fair, Robbie Anderson had his best year as a possession receiver when he was playing with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, let's be real clear.
Again, my argument was the same thing for Curtis Samuel as it was for Robbie Anderson. They are a deep threat wide receiver meant to take the top off of a defense. If your quarterback isn't connecting with them, then you have to do some dink and dunk type bullshit to manufacture yards. So that's the point on that. Let me go to CPG. CPG, what were you gonna say now?
Well, just to go off before I start, to go off what you just said, I agree completely. The line last year was so bad that Robbie had no chance of getting deep enough to be thrown the ball before Darnold was sacked. But I was saying DJ's production has never went down with this carousel of quarterbacks, but Robbie's dropped so bad last year.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ's the only
Look who was
consistent.
throwing the ball.
Well, and a lot of
And by the way, I almost feel like if Matt Corral couldn't make these weapons work, then I want to know now, because to me that's a huge indicator that he's not an NFL quarterback. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather know now than be wondering about this shit later on down the road.
Exactly.
No. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. I think Matt Corral should be starting Matt Corral by week 5, regardless of whether or not he's ready. Regardless, the same with Brandon Smith, the inside linebacker, the linebacker they drafted, because we need to know if these guys they need to be trial by fire, because we need to know going into next year's draft what we have and what we don't, because we've got some people. I know folks are kind of flipping me some shit for my 2 to 4 wins column, but like this roster it's very top heavy. You got a lot. It's not a deep roster. They cannot sustain injuries. They just can't. And that defense.
Is he lying? Is he lying?
No.
I just don't know what roster y'all are talking about. Not the roster I'm looking at. Not the roster I'm looking at.
Come on, Twan. Come on, my G.
I know football very well.
Okay, so
I know football very well. You know what I'm saying? I know that the things that we constantly talk about.
Let me let Brad finish. Let me let Brad finish, and then I want to ask everybody a question. But Brad, finish your thought, and I'm gonna ask a question.
I just worry, like I said, with this roster, they've done a lot to. Don't get me wrong. I think the offensive line is going to be better. I think that no matter who the quarterback is, that needed to happen, right? I think our wide receiver core is fine. I mean, I think Terrace Marshall's got some. I'm not going to label somebody a bust after year 1. I'm just not going to do it, right? Sure. I don't feel like that's fair. I don't think people realize how deficient our defense is going to be this year. Like it is not. That secondary might be fine, but we have nobody in middle linebacker. We got nobody.
To say that. You mean no matter how deficient the linebacking core is going to be?
I agree with that. The linebacker is probably the weakest.
Yeah, it's not the defense; it's the linebacker.
It's the
right. And if Brandon Smith doesn't play well, it's going to be an even bigger factor. I will say this though, I do believe Frankie Louvu is going to have a breakout year.
I think so too, Cody.
I think Frankie Louvu is a dog. Yo.
Cody, I think you agree. You would agree with this too. But man, that's why the whole Baker Mayfield. Look, man, fuck Baker Mayfield. We need to be out looking for another linebacker.
That's Buster Mayfield.
I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
I mean,
Mayfield 100%.
They should be looking for pieces.
We got. Y'all talking about trading shit?
No, hey, don't get me wrong. I don't want to make.
They don't value the linebacker position on this team.
No.
I'd much rather go to linebacker.
This defense is meant to play with a lead and to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. That's what they're. If they don't have a lead, if they can't pin their ears back, if they get ran on aggressively, they're not built for that. They're not built to withstand that. They're just not.
How do you not have respect for a linebacker? I don't know. The Carolina Panthers have always had all-time great linebackers, man. How do you not look at it? You guys have Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis at OTAs, man.
John Beeson,
they don't put on pads anymore.
Beeson, Dan Morgan. Yeah, we've had a lot of good ones.
Yeah. So this is my question I wanted to ask y'all. Okay. Matt Rule in his press conference, he alluded to a real competition at the quarterback position, and he said he would be open to starting Matt Corral, but he also mentioned the left tackle position and that they want to get Brady Christensen on this offensive line. And once again, not only did Ikem Ekwonu say and reiterate that he would not be he would not mind if he had to
He said
bump
he didn't care
inside the
what
guard.
position he played.
And I think, and I've maintained this, that Brady Christensen isn't suited to play anything other than tackle. So is there a possibility with Matt Corral and Christensen, or my bad, Matt Corral and Sam Darnold, and Ikem Ekwonu and Brady Christensen, is there actually going to be like a legitimate test to see who the best at quarterback and left tackle is? Or do you think that it's all just mouth service and they know who they want to start where?
I think they're going to put Brady Christensen at left tackle and Ikem Ekwonu at guard. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
I like
because I don't like it. I feel like if that's the case, you blew a 6th-round pick on a guard. Like,
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
I think they're going to test. They're going to test it, and then whatever works is what they're going to roll with.
Yeah,
yeah.
They should test it. There's no reason you should go into it and not make it a competition for the two, just to see who's better. You know, if you don't, you're not doing your homework.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. That's going to be an easy switch.
Kind of talk to him, man.
I think they're going to start that in training camp opens. As training camp and preseason develop, they'll see if it works. Brady Christensen. I mean, let's remember what OTAs are, folks. Okay, OTAs is basically no contact. They've had 2 or 3 teams get fined and lose time next year, practice time next year over getting too physical in OTAs. Okay, there is no tackling, there is no pushing, there is no shoving. The offensive line and the defensive line play patty cake. Literally what they do. That's all they did, patty cake. The wide receivers don't bump and run the corners. They just run down the field open while the corner tags behind them. This is what OTAs are. Okay, it's not physical football. Let's understand that's what OTAs are. It's easy for Brady Christensen to look good at left tackle when all he's doing is playing patty cake with the defensive end.
Oh, you mean the guys with the panties and the helmets out there? They're not really making contact with each other? Okay.
It's just easy.
And some teams are getting fined. Some teams are getting fined now for too much physicality.
The Cowboys got fined. Rivera got fined.
Yeah.
And the coaches themselves are getting fined, not the team.
Yep.
But they do lose, for example, next year.
Then you'll start losing
talking
shit.
about the practice time and OTAs and stuff. The Cowboys will be down like to 1 day next year. That's it.
Yep.
But to kind of piggyback on that what you're saying though, one other thing that Rule did mention in his presser is that Brady Christensen is one of the best players on the team. Period.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of like he wasn't like he's one of the best guards, best linemen. He said he's one of the best players on the team. So
and what's with the change of heart? Like, if you think that he's one of the best players on the team, then why if he's that good to you, why didn't you start him at left tackle all year last year?
I asked that question on Twitter. I said, "Well, good for Brady Christensen. Maybe our head coach should have tried Brady Christensen at left tackle last offseason."
Yeah,
but he didn't.
Hey, Pickle. Ron Rivera is not going to tell us that he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
You mean Matt Rule?
Matt Rule, I said Rivera.
Hey,
Rivera won't do it either, though.
Yeah, I was about to say Rivera's not going to do it either.
Well, it's not just that. Both Rivera and Rule do not like playing rookies unless they have to. They like to play veterans.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair,
what are they, Dean Smith?
To be fair,
he did play Jeremy Chin and
to be fair, when Matt Rule showed up after the season on WFNZ, he did say that I regret not playing him more at left tackle. To be fair, that's what
after
Matt
everyone was
Rule
complaining.
said.
How about we should
maybe
hindsight is 2020.
But hindsight, yeah, exactly what I was ready to say. But hindsight's always 2020. I can tell you right now, things in my life I would change if I could go back in history. Something.
So this is Ikem Ekwonu doing the Icky Shuffle, catching the touchdown pass from Sam Darnold.
He's going to be our best tight end too.
Yeah.
I mean,
if football was only OTA, it would be all right.
No, I want to know something that Brad said. I like Brad, but Brad, me and you are disagreeing a lot lately. There is this mindset that runs through people's minds that the guard position is somehow some kind of secondary bullshit position. That it's like, and whatever, you can spend 5th and 6th round picks. But I would argue that in today's NFL, the interior of your offensive line is more important than your edges. Not only are quarterbacks more mobile and they can evade edge pressure better, but your quarterback needs a pocket to be able to step up into. If you're going to tell me that Ikem Ekwonu, Bradley Bozeman, and Austin Corbett doesn't sound like a nightmare trio, I don't know what does, man. And
Most
by
of
the
our
way,
shots
my last point, you're Quentin Nelson every year is an all-pro Pro Bowler. Are you going to tell me that guy isn't worth, being one of the highest paid offensive linemen in football?
But now we're talking about free agency. We're not talking about. Let's be clear here, right? Nobody said Derek Brown was a bad pick. They said he was a bad pick at number 7, right? If Ikem Ekwonu is a guard, if that's where he ends up being, is a guard, right? Nobody's saying he'd be a bad guard. We're saying that we're pissed we wasted our number 6 overall pick on a guard. If that's the line of thinking, right? If that's the reality of the matter, then fine, whatever. But if you look at, again, you go look historically, most interior offensive linemen are not typically taken in the top 10. That's where you take your left tackles. That's where you take your edge rushers. That's where you take your pieces that are going to impact the game the most, right? And that's the thing that I would have issue with is if honestly, and I don't know, it's not a matter of I think that Ikem Ekwonu is not a quality left tackle or couldn't be a quality left tackle. I worry that this coaching staff is so up their own ass with their evaluations that they won't let him develop into a left tackle and let him go there when it's time, when he's ready to go. That would be my concern.
It's one guy. I keep saying it. It's not the coaches. It's only one cancer on that coaching staff. It's Matt Rule.
Right, but my thing is this,
we got one of the better offensive line coaches in the league, in my opinion. Matt Rule should be listening to him.
Well, and I do think he is, to give him some credit. I think that's part of the reason why he's so high on Christensen. But again, my last thing to Brad, then I'll move on. The reason I bring up Quentin Nelson, Brad, is because he was drafted number 6 overall, and he plays left guard for the Indianapolis Colts. And nobody would deny that Quentin Nelson might be the best offensive lineman in all of football, like independent of tackle, guard, center, whatever. So would you not have taken Quentin Nelson at number 6?
No, probably not. No. I mean,
okay.
Honestly.
Hey, I appreciate the consistency, man. Like I said that about Derek Brown too, that he was never going to be worth a top 10 pick because he's a nose tackle.
We're trying to run the ball. Wouldn't you want to guard more?
That's what I'm saying, man. If you want to run the ball, who better to run behind with McCaffrey and Foreman than Ikem Ekwonu?
Bro.
Hey, Cody, this is my thing, G. This is my thing with this whole process, bro. The last great left tackle we had was fucking Jordan Gross, G.
Yeah.
We drafted Icky at left tackle for a motherfucking reason. Just leave him there, bro, and let him be great. Just let him be great.
Right.
Now, at least we know that's our blind spot, bro. At least we know the left tackle position is taken care of, and we don't got to worry about it, G.
Dude, he's going to be playing tackle. He's going to be playing.
I'm sick of them trying to outthink themselves. They're always trying to be the first one to do this, the first one to do that.
Say it again, G, baby.
Love of God.
They can't get out their own fucking way.
There's merit.
I want to go to Greg on this. Let's go to Greg.
There's merit to both sides of this argument because on one side you have the tight end argument where you can have the best tight end in the world, but it's just kind of a rule. Nobody would really draft a tight end in the top 10 generally, especially at number 6. I feel like it's kind of like that with the guard because I feel like the left tackle is looked at as a more valuable position. I mean, you're absolutely right
It
about
pays higher.
what was the guy? Quentin Nelson in
Quentin
in
Nelson.
Indianapolis.
Colts.
You're right, but if he hadn't worked out, could you name another one? Probably not. But I can name about 7 or 8 left tackles that make a huge difference on a team. But like I said, there's merits to both sides of the argument. I think either way, we've got a solid pick here, no matter where we put him at.
Thank you. I'm
The
not
question is,
even worried.
where's Brady Christensen going to play better? That's what
Yep.
it comes down to. Where's
Right.
he
Well,
going
and
to
I
play
think
better?
I think that's
That's a great-
undeniably left tackle because he's never played anything.
That's
but
a great
left tackle.
take, man.
I mean,
Right.
it's
And
great
by
take.
the way, that's my only argument here too, is that I would rather Christensen be on the field than off it. And
Right.
I don't think Christensen is a good playing guard. I really don't. I think the only thing that he could play at a really high level is tackle. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong.
Then let him be a great backup, coach.
He's gonna be a
Let him be a great
guard.
backup.
And
Can
I
I say
also,
something, please?
well,
He can play guard,
I'll
man.
let you go right after I say it, Kenneth. I also don't want anyone to think that I'm doubting Ikem Ekwonu's ability to play left tackle.
Right.
Because how about this? If Ikem Ekwonu is playing Myles Garrett, I don't give a shit. All feelings, no facts. I got my money on Ikem Ekwonu, bro. How about that? I don't even
He's
give a
playing
shit. I
left
don't care.
tackle. Like, he's
I
not
don't
gonna
care how
be-
He's gonna play left
nonsensical it
tackle.
sounds.
He's
And
not
by
gonna
the
be
way,
playing
I
guard.
agree with that. I do think that he is eventually going to end up playing left
Hey,
tackle.
Cody, I'm gonna tell you this too, Cody. If I'm a Kwanu, you ain't playing me a guard because you're gonna pay me as a fucking tackle in the future, bro.
That's another
Yes,
thing too. Yeah,
thank
you're right.
you.
Hey,
You're not
that's a
gonna
very good
reduce
point.
my salary by
That's a
putting me
very
in
good
guard.
fucking point.
He's gonna want to make his money. You're right.
And we just had him throw a touchdown. We just threw a touchdown to him in practice.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna put me a guard and reduce my future salary. Fuck that.
That's oh my god, that's such a good fucking point.
And he has the right. I mean, honestly, he has every right to feel that way too.
Yep.
You know.
They're definitely going to have a package where they throw
He
in the
gonna pay me
ball
as a
during the
tackle.
season like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Panda, he did play some guard at NC State, and when he did, he looked incredible. So no one's doubting his position. No matter where you think Ikem Ekwonu is to play, no one is doubting that he can play the other at a very high level.
Cody,
You know
that's
what I
because
mean?
he's a beast. He's an
Yeah.
I know,
animal.
I love him.
It's
I
like I
can't
said,
wait to
he's
see
gonna.
this dude knock people into the fucking dirt.
Yeah.
And have y'all noticed all these offensive linemen coming out of the draft now? They all wrestled at one point
Yeah.
in their career.
It was good.
Bro, they understand leverage and strength and
Mhm.
getting underneath people, man. Like this dude's a beast, man.
I think that's
I'm
a
loving
good
this
sign.
standpoint.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
willing to
Good
argue
sign, bro.
the last 5 to 10 years, offensive line quality has been going down. I think it's starting to go
Yeah.
back up finally.
Yeah, with that
Well,
money,
it's not
yeah.
that it's gone down. It's the fact that the quality of the pass rushers has gotten way bigger exponential. Has gone way up, right?
Well,
And the
that's why I
offensive line-
say I don't think colleges have done a good enough job of getting them ready for that in the pros.
Well, they've also changed the rules to protect the quarterback a lot more, which makes it
Yeah,
hard
it
on
always
every
comes
on
back
every
to, you
defensive
know,
player. Every defensive player,
it
quarterback.
always comes back to laying quarterbacks down on pillows.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I mean
Yeah.
that could be a reason why perhaps middle
Man,
linebacker
this
and
is
defensive line
football.
play has gone down because you can't tackle anybody. I mean, it's made so easy for the offense now, which is cool because
Yeah.
I like seeing big offensive games, but I want it to be,
I told Kenneth that go back to him. Kenneth, you still remember what you were wanting
Yeah,
to say?
yes, absolutely. Many years ago, G baby, you mentioned Jordan Gross. People don't realize Jordan Gross did not start his NFL career at left tackle
Good point.
because they didn't need him to, but they knew the next year they would. We also had an offensive guard we drafted, but for his rookie year, we said, dude, I think it was his rookie year. I think he said, "Can you play left tackle for us, brother? We kind of need you there." Sure, brother, I'm there. He was the third round pick, by the way. He said, okay. He played left tackle. I think it was for 2 years, but then after a while, after that year's was up, they said, okay, we want you to move into guard. He was much better at guard. He turned around to be an offensive line coach in the end. His name was Terrell Wharton. It don't matter where you're drafted. If you're willing to play multiple positions, you'll get more money. Cody, you mentioned the Colts guard, right? Remember this past year when they asked him if he would switch to left tackle? Kind of didn't want to, did he? Kind of almost denied it without denying it, or refused without refusing. That dude may be the best, but he's not going to get paid like a stud left tackle because he wouldn't play left
You know what? On top of that, too, at this point, with how depleted our offensive line was, does it really matter whether or not we got a guard or a tackle? Because we really needed somebody.
Yeah.
At
Now,
tackle.
if Ekwonu plays, let's just hypothetically say he plays 2 years at guard. Then for whatever reason he gets to play tackle and he's a stud. You don't think after them 5 years is up, they say you've been a Pro Bowler at guard and a Pro Bowler at left tackle. He gonna get a little bit more money than most other folks because
Yeah, but I'm
he's
gonna need
gonna have
that
a
tackle
whole lot
money.
of choices.
But I'm gonna need that tackle money.
Yeah, but he's still gonna have a whole lot of
All
choices.
right, so I hope his agent said, "Look, let's remember you put him at guard."
My personal opinion is when they actually practice, actually face other people in preseason.
Agreed.
Ekwonu's going to end up being a left tackle,
right?
Because that's his natural spot, and he's going to be. Brady's going to be good. Don't disrespect that, but Brady's not going to be as good as Ekwonu at left tackle. I think people are overreacting to OTAs. Because if you had a video exactly what OTAs are, you would understand this. I've heard multiple NFL Mike Wall.
It's patty cake.
Yeah, Mike Rule used to play offensive line for the Panthers and the Packers. Went to many Pro Bowlers. Said it himself. You're playing patty cake with offensive linemen or the defensive linemen. That's all you're doing during OTAs. He said people get overhyped about these dudes. Go back in history and look at the countless people who got OTA praise. One of the best OTA wide receivers that's ever played for the Carolina Panthers was the blonde bomber, Brenton Burson. He was the best OTA player that ever played for the Carolina Panthers.
Hey,
I
you
can't
know
tell you
that-
how many years extensions he got because he looked good in OTA.
No, but Kenneth, you know why? You know my conspiracy.
I know why, but that was the
Jerry
name that come to my head. I still use a different name, but that's the name that come to my
Hey,
head.
Brenton Burson, that's Jerry Richardson's illegitimate child, y'all.
Exactly. But
Jerry said, "Oh, you went to
that-
Wofford? Cool, you're on the team."
Yeah, and by the way,
countless
Brenton Burson grew up as a neighbor to Jerry Richardson too.
They
so.
and I'm gonna say this: Rashad Melvin, the corner who everybody alluded to is going to be great last year, that turned out to be just what he is—a special, not even a good special teamer. He's a OTA fame boy. He goes to OTA. He goes to multiple training camps. In his veteran experience, on the chat earlier, somebody talked about veteran players and isn't certain players to be veterans. Rashad Melvin's a veteran player. Look at all the teams he got cut from. He's a experienced veteran corner who's failed at everywhere he's ever been.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to go to Kev White Chocolate. Where do you lie on this? Like, I know you probably think he could play anywhere, but if you were picking left tackle or left guard, just your preference, what would you pick? And where do you think he actually starts?
I'll have him play left tackle, and he probably plays left tackle.
Okay.
And think about that. You have two bookend left tackle and a right tackle. We still got Taylor Moton, man.
Yeah.
So not only do you have a motherfucker protecting your blind side, you have confidence in your right side as well.
You know what, G-Baby, the more you talk, I love it when you talk like that. Because when you talk, most of the time, all you do is keep reminding you're going against your argument. This team is going to win ball games, bro.
No, they're not. Not many.
Oh, that's a good point. He's saying, "Hey man, we
listen, all you guys keep naming is all when you're not on the league. You keep naming what we do well, all the weapons we have, or whatever. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm going to go back to what I said a long time ago.
Look at that O-line, man. Hey, look, you just said it yourself, G-Baby. I'm trying to change your mind now. Look at that O-line. That's been our Achilles heel in our history, in our past history, bro.
That's probably our
You
strongest
ain't gonna
strength.
win much. You ain't gonna win much when you're throwing 3 or 4 interceptions a game, man. I don't care.
You're not going to be throwing it 3 or 4 times anyway.
Yeah.
You should be running every time.
We need to be pounding the ball with a line like that. Get back to that
The
run game,
teams
bro.
you're facing are not going to be as good as you think they are.
I'm trying to tell y'all, they all got issues.
They do. And to overlook that is might as well overlook everything in Carolina.
Hey, we called it on C3. I got what we called for the records right here written down on C3. So we're gonna see. I had them at let's see, 11-6.
There's no way. There's no way. You had him at 11-6 too.
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose.
Hey, if Matt Corral's our quarterback, that's it to me. Hey man, I'm choosing to be optimistic. I like this young man.
Thank you.
I'm pumped for him.
And
why would we lose more than 5?
Yo,
that's what we won the last 2 years.
Watson ain't going to play for Cleveland.
He's not.
He's out for
So
Baker.
you think Jacoby Brissett is going to beat us? You got to remember, Brian Burns had a bad year last year. He's looking to get paid.
Hey,
His big brother let him know you're going to have to put sacks up, dude, or you ain't going to get paid.
Hey, Pickle.
You'll be like me in a couple of
Hey,
years.
Pickle, we can go over that whole schedule, and I can tell you what's wrong with every team if something's wrong.
I agree.
Like, everybody said we're going to get beat by Denver. I don't think so. Denver got a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. They just
new quarterback.
Denver got a new owner.
Yeah. Bengals got Super
New
Bowl.
owner.
Look, here's the thing: is we still can lose. Like a lot of people talk trash about Baker Mayfield, talk about how much garbage he is. But I believe last time he came to Carolina, he did roast us, didn't he?
He destroyed us. Yes.
So I mean,
he was better
we
than Cam
we
Newton
can
the
get
last
beat
time
by
he came to
Jacoby
Carolina.
Brissett. We definitely can.
We ain't losing
But
to Jacoby Brissett, man.
just saying,
We just not. I refuse.
I don't think
I don't think we
competition's a
will lose
bad
that
thing.
game, but we can.
I won't manifest that.
Yeah, we can. That's what I say. That we've got to be on our toes.
Mhm.
We've got to be.
Well-
I like the gel from the players they're getting right now. Is because they're understanding. A lot of them have more experience under their hat. They're understanding the game process more. Brown, the defensive tackle, Derek Brown, he lost a little weight. He's back in shape. He's bound and determined to make this year his best year. If he goes off this year, folks, they ain't a quarterback going to stop him.
Bro, y'all see Chin lately? Chin getting swollen.
Yeah,
All I've been hearing
homeboy is
Yeah.
jacked.
Y'all know what's
All
gonna
I've
make
been hearing is that everybody's finally buying into this, and that sounds like a good sign to me.
I'm trying to tell you we're going to win ball
There's-
games this year, y'all. We are. Y'all picked the wrong season to hate.
Look, there's two things that are going to equal us winning ball games this year, y'all. Really, one is people buying in, the team buying in. Because look at the years we've won. And look at winning teams. The players have always bought in. Two, injuries. If we can like minimize injuries this year and have key players on the field most of the time, we're going to have a like if we had our full roster healthy, we do have a pretty solid squad.
But
we
so
got
does everybody.
some issues.
Well, y'all getting us 2 wins.
But to be fair, that's every team in the NFL. Outside
You're right,
of the
exactly.
Seahawks, the Seahawks and everybody else.
No, not the Browns. They don't got a quarterback. Cardinals don't have Hopkins.
But all right, can I tell you my train? I want to tell you my train of thought, and then I'm going to play this video clip. But okay, are we in agreement that from last year to this year, the roster has gotten better? Obviously, we haven't seen it. But is it reasonable to say that the Panthers have upgraded their football team considerably?
Yes,
that and people come back from injury helps.
They definitely upgraded the weakest position.
Hey, look, man.
Who says no?
Hey,
let me ask you: Who doesn't think this team is better than last year based on what we've done?
I don't think
Who said
the
that?
defense is good. I don't.
Brad
Who said that?
and Nick. All right, we'll go to Brad and Nick. Go ahead, Brad.
So I think that you lost Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick wasn't exactly fantastic in the running game or in the run defense, but like he accounted. You're not gonna. It's gonna be tough for them to replace his. What he had 11.5.
How many games did we win with him? How many games did we win with him?
How many games have we won with YGM and
How many games did we win with him?
5.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. How many games did we win with YGM and Frankie Luvu?
They were hurt. They
I
were
don't,
hurt.
I don't give a- I don't give a shit. If you're gonna play this game, let's play this game. How many games do we
Yeah,
win?
you know what? Hold on. I want to add to Brad's point on that one. How many games did we win with Cam Newton in 2018?
Again, you're naming injured players, man.
It doesn't
And
matter.
and
If you
and,
want to
and,
play
It
that
does
game,
matter.
you
You're
play that
injured.
game.
It matters.
So what you're saying is these injured players who have been historically injured, and now you've removed the other defensive end, the other bookend of that defensive line, right? So you're relying on players who are injured frequently to pick up an 11 sack workload. It's not going to happen.
Nobody's
It's not
injured
gonna
on
happen.
who's injured on our defense now. Who's injured? Who's coming
I
in
go
injured?
next.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Who's coming in injured?
Let's look at Riddick. Okay, when Riddick went to the Eagles, right away the Eagles are like, okay, and it's documented online. Right away they have to develop pass rush schemes for Riddick, because Riddick's not heavy enough to be a defensive end. He doesn't cover well enough to be a linebacker in a 4-3. So they have to redevelop pass rush moves. Exactly what Phil Snow did. Riddick got his sacks because he was lined up at key situations on the defensive stump to do it. I don't see any reason why one of these guys we already have on our rosters can't rush a quarterback when there's nobody there blocking it. Just because the defensive was systematically schemed for that one issue. Now that's just my thoughts.
Hey,
That's just a factor.
Please let me just squeeze one thing in with Pickle.
Yeah, go ahead.
And to help Pickle out with that, and Pickle might not think the same way I feel when I say this, though. But I'm an advocate of this, and you guys can disagree all you want. Riddick was as good as he was because Burns was as good as he was, and he took a lot of attention away from Riddick.
Yes, he did.
They doubled him every play.
They doubled him every play. If you go back and look, a lot of Riddick did more one-on-ones, or he just flat out didn't have.
Was not the same situation with Burns.
Hey, real quick, to Lynn, before you head out, I'm getting ready to show the Matt Corral ethnicity thing. I know you said the question was kind of stupid. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you do have to leave, that's cool. But I did want to add on to something that I think is relevant to this conversation. I think losing Hassan Reddick and then us signing Steve Wilkes back to the team, I don't think that's a coincidence. And if you remember what Steve Wilkes was known for, he would do those safety and corner fire blitzes. I think that if the Panthers don't have a bunch of guys that are truly winning a lot of one-on-one matchups, I think you're going to see this defense blitz a whole lot more than you've seen them do over the past 2 seasons.
Hey,
and
Cody,
they have
remember
the
that
guys to
playbook.
do it. They got Frankie Louvu. They got Jeremy Chin. J.C. Horn runs a 4-3. So it's like, they have the speed to be able to come off the edges wide and make some pressure if they're not able to do that with YGM. And I am hopeful that with Marquise Haynes and YGM and Matt Ioannidis and shit, that I know he's more inside, but I think that you're going to see the best of some of our players if they're actually given the opportunity to succeed.
I'm hoping for Carlos Dunlap.
That's a crime. They should not let Carlos Dunlap leave without.
I don't know how they did.
Right. Oh, if
that's insane.
If I could throw this in too, and this is added to the pass rush issue. Marquise Haynes did gain some weight and strength this year. I really hope that helps him out quite a bit. I think it will, but his bulk, he's bulked up a little bit, and he went from 235 to 250. That I hope
the
that
boys in the
does
gym.
what he did.
15 pounds of muscle.
Exactly. What they said. That means a lot, but I'm saying
they had to get stronger, Pickle, because they was getting pushed around. So
exactly.
Up,
You're exactly right.
So, but and that's kind of the thing. Like, I want to. I'll leave this argument with this kind of final thought, and it's like I said, it's just the way I've been thinking about it. If you look at the defensive DVOA over the last, I think it was 6 or 7 games last year, the Carolina Panthers ranked 31st out of 32 possible teams. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL over the last 6 games, right? And you lost your best player. Now, I'm not saying they didn't add players. I think that Matt Ioannidis is going to be a big upgrade over. God, I can't remember who else they had besides Derek Brown, but I think that he's going to be a big upgrade. I just think that pass rush is going to be hard to. I think it's going to be hard to replace. I mean,
who was that talking?
That's Brad.
Oh, Brad, what's up, Brad?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair argument.
Hey,
but
Brad, I will say this though, Brad. Listen, when everybody keeps talking about the defense, when everybody keeps saying something about the defense from last year, I've had these arguments so many times. I'm just so prepared with this. Look, that defense to me was who they were. But damn, bro, if I play defense and I play college ball at Florida State, if you leave me out on the field 75% of the time, I'm gonna get fucking tired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
and
a
I'm
fair
gonna start
argument.
cussing people out on that fucking offensive man. Look, fuck. Can y'all run more than 1 to 3 and outs?
Yeah.
I can't do this. See, we're penalizing that side of the ball for having to constantly be out there.
No, we said that all season last year because I know I said it quite a few times that the defense was on the field too much.
Yeah.
But Cody, you had asked me and Brad why we felt like the team was taking a step back, especially on defense. Okay, last year we couldn't stop the run. Okay, that usually, in my opinion, comes down to poor linebacker play. Okay, how many full seasons has Shaq Thompson played?
That's a good question.
7 years. He's
How
been in
many
the
full
NFL for
seasons?
7 years.
He said a full
drafted.
season.
This will be 7 years.
But how many full seasons?
Probably one. Probably
Where
one or
he's
two.
never missed a game.
Yeah,
And
one or
on top
two.
of that, same thing whenever we talk about Dante Jackson. How many full seasons has he actually played?
1 or
So you're
2.
talking about the two of the highest paid players on your defense that don't play full seasons every single year.
Great point.
Two arguments real quick to buttle both of y'all said there. One, Nick, they're the highest paid because they've been there longer than most people there. The reason why they're the highest paid is because most people on our defense are very young and on their rookie contracts.
Yeah, Matt Rule made sure of that.
Yes. So two, Brad, your argument is a fair argument, but it's based on the premise that you think that what's his name, the guy we were talking about leaving. No, Hassan Reddick. Based on the fact that you think he's the best defensive player on the team, which I personally do not. You can make that argument, and I can understand that. I personally don't think he was the best defensive player on our team.
Hey, hold on. But
that's the only thing I would say to those, but I understand the arguments.
Before anybody responds, shout out to my man Southbound for the $10 love bomb. He says, we Panther fans have become that guy who gets to ride to the car, meet and brags about his car in his garage, and that he's too broke to fix. Brady in our division and Matt Ford equals 0 playoff hopes. Appreciate you, Southbound. I mean, it seems like optimism is all over the place, man. Some people think we're a 2-win team. Some people think we're going to make a playoff push.
I will be that guy when Brady finally hits that wall. I'm going to say I told you so. It might have took me 20 years to say that, but I'm going to be that guy.
Keep saying it every year, and you got to be right one year. That's right.
Exactly. One of these years, I'm going to be right.
Yeah. Sometimes, look, everything and everything, all the chakras and whatever told him, dude, you should have left last year. That guy that wants to keep testing his luck is going to wind up getting fucked up.
Did you say all his shots?
They didn't even touch him, man.
That's why he's crazy, bro.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
I mean,
but G baby, let me let you understand something too that I know though, bro. Look, man, I know your frustration. I know y'all's frustration. I was that guy for 3 years. This team is giving you nothing to believe in, bro. But I'm telling you, it's this year's. I promise you, man. I'll give you $20. This team's gonna be different.
You owe me money, bro.
I do. I offered to pay you, but you was like, no.
You want to make him bets and he ain't even paid out yet, bro.
No,
come on, man.
So he wanted to be rich, so I was like, fuck it.
But hey, man, hey, Brad
I
has
gotta keep my
to.
name clean now, man. I was gonna pay him. He said, "No, I don't want it."
Wait,
No,
wait,
Juan's right. I remember it.
I did
let's
turn
time
it
out
down.
here.
I did turn it down.
Let's time out
Let
here.
me know.
If all I gotta do is say, Twan, you owe me money, you gonna send me money, brother. We need to talk.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, bro. You gotta put
Hey,
it
but
out
hold
there.
on, wait, hold on, guys. Time. Hold up. Brad has to leave us. Brad, I appreciate you for joining us, man. You have anything you want to say before you get out of here, man?
Good takes, Brad.
Not really. Just like I said, I'm kind of being a little negative Nancy. This team hasn't given me a whole lot to really be happy about it.
You're allowed.
Hey, Brad, I feel
like
you, man. I feel you and G Baby, man. I feel y'all, bro.
And like I said, you know what about the whole thing with Matt Corral? I'll tell you guys what. If we get double-digit wins and Matt Corral is our starting quarterback, I'll buy that fucking jersey.
No, you won't, G. Don't do it, bro.
I'm saying that because I know I'm not going to have to spend $130 on a jersey because it ain't happening.
Brad, let's be real. Let's be real,
Everybody
man.
tell Brad bye, y'all. Bye, Brad. See you later, man.
If you and G Baby are right, I'm real certain you're going to be here to tell us all how much you got.
Oh yeah, no.
Hey, wait. Before y'all go, and if I am right, y'all better make sure y'all show back up for that too. Now, that's all I'm saying, man. Y'all
We
better
don't
show
come
back
looking for
up.
your ass.
Hey,
Don't be dancing in that video.
that's the beauty of the Friday free for all, man. We welcome all opinions, but just so you know, your opinions are on video now, so everybody can look back at this, man. But hey, it's all right, man. Like everybody has a difference of an opinion, and you're entitled to it, man. So
I'm changing
it is
G
what it
Baby's
is,
mind before the season starts. I'm changing his mind.
Later.
I'm gonna get G Baby up there at least 8 wins.
Okay, I'm going to try to type this, but it's not going to work. I want to shout out to Lawrence Trevitt in the chat because he said that Brady ain't retiring until somebody retires him.
Right.
I don't want to hurt injury on anybody, but I sure do hope
I kind of do.
Burns and y'all remember last year? Who was it? It was Derek Brown and somebody else who smashed the bejesus out of that rookie quarterback for the Jets first game.
Texas, wasn't it?
And it was the Jets, the rookie quarterback, Wilson.
Yeah.
They come Derek Brown and I want to say it was Brian Burns, but that may be wrong. So anyway, they smashed the bejesus out of him in one of the first plays, and the announcer is just like, "Welcome to the NFL." And I'd like to see Brady done that way. Being his old ass, he may not get up.
Hey, Pickle, me too. Hey, look, man. I want Tom Brady to get lit because of the hypocrisy with his ass. He said out of his mouth last year, he said the NFL was too soft.
What?
Hey,
But he
how do you think I feel live?
so many years. I know y'all heard him when he do. I know
He's the reason it's soft.
Huh?
He's the reason it's soft.
He's the reason that it is soft.
Yep.
Hey, Juan, how do you think I feel living up here in Mass? I think listeners 24/7.
So I want Brian Burns or somebody to light his ass up. I want to be the team that took him out.
I'd like to see him not get injured, but like maybe get like so scared. Like Brian Burns hits him so hard that he's like, you know what, man, I'm done with this. Like make him quit. Like hit him so hard and makes him quit. Knock the will out of him. That's what I want.
I want him to quit during our game. Go to the sideline.
I want him.
Hey, he's not going away though. Y'all know he already signed a deal to be a commentator afterwards. So whenever he retires, that deal's locked in.
They about made him an owner of the Dolphins.
Yeah, we got Brady for the next 20 years, whether y'all like it or not. He's in our lives.
But you know what? In a large sense, Brady's right. The NFL has become wusses. Because if you go back and you look at film of I'll just say the 70s and 80s, okay? You look at the folks back then, take Jerry Rice, for example. Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest wide receiver in history, but he had to go down the field, catch balls, and fight people from the line of scrimmage all the way down the field. He had to fight corners.
It was pretty fucking
Back
fast,
in the day,
say-
slot receivers used to be scared to death to run the slot. Why? Because the corners and safeties would knock the shit out of them.
Bro.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Back
Lott
then-
might have been the bone breaker.
Back then, an offensive lineman literally had to. That's why they called him the protector. Them quarterbacks did get sacked; they got creamed,
Yeah.
and it was
Gotta stop all that.
This
And that's,
season, injury.
and that's why you should earn the most money, not because you whatever all this other shit. You want to be pretty boy back then and take these hits.
Exactly, and I agree. That's what Matt, I do agree that the NFL has become massively soft. And
Bro.
and I heard I heard Ricky Pro say this, and I've heard Jerry Rice say this. You take some of these kids in today's NFL, transfer them back in them days, they could some of your
They're
superstars,
quick, man.
they couldn't handle it. They absolutely couldn't handle it.
I think they could adapt.
No,
I don't think Tom Brady
what's his
would.
name? Tyreek Hill. Imagine Tyreek Hill running as fast as he does, having to fight, literally fight corners and safeties all the way down the field.
I think he would have wound up beating them on speed though.
I've never seen
And about time he makes that catch, they would hit him so hard to hurt him.
Tyreek Hill would have beat some of them dudes on speed, bro.
Well, I'm not saying he wouldn't make it. I'm just saying it would be hard for him.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I love this debate because I hear this debate all the time. I hear it more in basketball than I do football. And it's usually always with the LeBron and Jordan conversations. But it always is, well, defense was tougher back then, blah, blah. Here's the thing, though, is that argument works both ways.
Yes.
If you could hack people and play defense back then like that, that also means that it was easier to play defense. Okay,
right.
Meaning if those players were here now, they'd be getting flagged and getting thrown off, like they wouldn't even be playing.
Exactly.
So
You're right.
There are two sides to that argument. Like, because I had this LeBron and Jordan argument all the time. People always throw that at me. And I'm like, well, yeah, but would Jordan be as good of a defender now? Because you can look at somebody the wrong way now and you get called for a foul.
Right.
You know, how hard is it to play defense now? So that's a very interesting thing because I hardly ever hear people hear the other side of that argument. You know,
if those guys would have refused to conform to the way that they play now, though, then what are the referees going to do? Throw everybody out the game? Then there's
You're
no
right.
product.
Yeah.
What's the name of that linebacker that played for the Bengals and then they actually cut him? He kept getting suspended
or whatever his name is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. Back in the day, all linebackers played
They
that way.
call him a dirty player. I'm like, that's just fucking
back in the
football.
day, all linebackers played that way.
Right.
That's a fact.
When he
Back-
was trying
back
to
in the day,
twist
all
off Cam
linebackers
Newton's
played that way.
leg, when he was trying to twist off Cam Newton's ankle in 2014, that was a dirty ass play, man. He's always trying to hurt people like that, man.
Greg, the wide receiver for the Steelers, retired for years.
Hines Ward?
Haynes.
Hines
Was he not suspended or fined? I remember because he hurt a Bengal corner.
Yeah,
a linebacker was a
I don't know.
linebacker. He hurt him because he was too physical or hit him or something in a way. That's to me. That's why they played back in those days.
It was a blindside block. That's why they changed the rules.
Guys, look,
Exactly. That's what I see. The rules have literally changed to make the league safer, but at the same time, it's to older players like Brady. It's made the NFL a wuss.
Okay, so all right, well, Twine, I'm gonna let you have the last word.
No,
I'm gonna move this along. I want to play a video before we get out of here. But
All right.
Twine, finish what you were gonna say though.
No, I was just gonna say, Pickle. I'm 47. I know I'm sure you're older than me.
Yeah.
I hate the way the game is now because my thing is, I got my fucking bell rung when I play football.
Yep.
I don't want to see this. See, I understand when people are born into this generation, this is what they know, and I can't knock that. But that's what they're playing today. Is so close to flag football. I don't know what else to call it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
You know, that's why when we see a decent hit, it's like a water cooler talk, at work, where we saw those hits all the time back in the day. I mean, look, when you talk about game like the frozen tundra, when you saw guys playing on fucking gravel, it wasn't even grass on some of those fields.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
But a
You're right.
lot of that comes from the players.
Yeah, there's no reason why in today's NFL we have inactivation. Zero reason.
All right.
That's why.
So look, I want to talk about this before we get out of here. It's been a topic of conversation just because it has been. People have been wondering what is Matt Corral's ethnicity, and then one of the reporters asked him, and then some fans even kind of got upset like that's why I shouted out Lynn earlier. She was kind of even upset that the question was asked. But I'm gonna play it for y'all, and then we'll kind of broach
Look
it
at his last name. Shit.
By the way, you cannot hear the reporter. You can only hear Matt.
I can't really hear it.
Yeah, I do. I am Mexican and Italian, mostly Mexican though. I don't really talk to my dad's side at all, so I don't really know him. But my mom's side, yeah, my grandma, she speaks Spanish. I wish I could. I understand a little bit, but my brothers do a little bit. My oldest brother is fluent. But yeah, definitely.
So there had been some, somebody, I think Tony it was.
Yeah,
said that,
where this Japanese dude come from?
yeah, bro, I got on Tony. Bro, I got on Tony.
Oh, I'm gonna get on his ass,
Bro,
G.
like, bro, where the hell did you hear that Matt Corral was Japanese?
What
bro?
the fuck?
But so now we do know, man. Our quarterback, Mexican and Italian, man. That's
great.
He's fucking Mexican.
I mean,
Thank you, Tuan. Thank you, G.
Y'all do know in a couple years.
I didn't even hear what Tuan said.
We'll be doing games in Mexico every day or every year.
Well, they're
We'll be
yeah,
doing games in Mexico every couple years.
Cody, everybody always saying they something in a split splash. You're fucking Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he is.
I don't even know what you. Hey, man, I know he's got Mexican blood and some Italian blood. To me, that says he's a fighter, man.
Hey.
Man, don't Italians and Mexicans make the best boxers? Come on, man. Like this dude's got some fight in him, bro.
You know
so
what?
It's like, yep.
It's going to come down to the same thing
every day.
It was going to come down to the same thing for me. I don't care what you are. I just want you to play good football.
Exactly.
I want you to be a quarterback.
Yes.
Be a quarterback. That's what I want. I want a good quarterback.
I have to ask this question though. Since when does that shit even fucking matter?
Exactly.
Like, the way
That's
I
what I'm
was
saying.
raised, man.
I don't even care.
Hey,
No,
bro,
hold on. The way I was raised, man, you never talk about any of that shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Everybody is the same.
You can't ask it during
So
the
why does it? Why are we okay with talking about this shit now?
The Panther Blue on Twitter says the reporter who asked the question was also Mexican. That makes sense. Back a couple years ago, if y'all remember, it may have been our Super Bowl run. A reporter, a Spanish-speaking reporter, asked Rivera a question in Spanish at a presser. Rivera responded in Spanish, and when other reporters said, "Well, what was the question? What was the answer?" Rivera politely said, "Learn Spanish and you'll find out."
Yeah.
Reporters had to go find an interpreter because I remember David Newton went to ESPN and had ESPN's Mexican interpret it for him, so everybody knew what it was.
Because Matt Rule has a radio show in DC that he speaks Spanish in the whole time.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care what the answer to the question was because to me it doesn't matter, like I said. But I also don't care that they asked because all they did was ask.
Too personal,
and I mean, but the thing is, it's one of those things that he could, if it was too personal, he could have said it's too personal. But she asked politely. You know, it wasn't like there was anything rude about it. And him saying that, okay, maybe there's a Hispanic kid now that sees that and is inspired by it, and that's awesome if it does. But it doesn't really matter. I don't care that they asked it because they didn't ask it in a rude way. You know.
Well, I mean, Cam didn't respond to the girl. Well, I don't want to open that thing up, but I didn't think Cam was being rude to that reporter.
I don't think
he got in trouble and lost deals because of that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, my wife don't know shit about routes.
I know a lot of women who don't know shit about shit on football. So.
And it's not because I don't think he was saying that. We'll open this up again. Not because they're a woman, but because there's never been a woman NFL wide receiver. That's all that.
Don't get me started with this political correct world we live in.
Cody, that last comment you had up, that there's been Mexicans I work with that'll ask me if Matt Corral was Mexican. I've experienced that. And I told him the truth. I said, I don't know. I think he's half, but I wasn't certain about it.
Hey, well, you know what?
I do now. I know now.
Yeah,
now
you can tell them.
But that is true. The Mexicans are root for their own. So you're good. You're gonna find some coming in, and that's fine. I'm not. That's fine. Let them come.
I'm like white chocolate in the guys though. It's like, man, okay, so how's that gonna help us win games?
Right.
I mean, but like you said, if the person was of the same descent, I get it.
Yeah, I do too. I understand that now.
But I
Hey,
mean,
let
I'm
me say
like,
something. Hey, let me say something real
Corral.
quick. We had somebody want to join the chat. If I don't know you from being in this room before, you have to show me some kind of verification that you
Yeah,
are
I
who
gotta
you
see your
say you
face.
You don't
are.
show his dick.
Yeah, because like I mean, honestly,
That's his verification.
you're a girl named Chrissy Minks. I've never seen your ass before. We never have women on here, so you have to do something to show me that you're not gonna fucking photobomb my show.
Hey,
So,
Cody, don't do that shit. Some guy
oh, I'm
let
not. Oh,
somebody
I'm
in
not,
his
bro.
shit.
Like, hey, I've learned my lesson.
Yeah,
Than to
bro.
just put on some random ass people on this.
Some guy.
We
I'm
welcome all Mexicans and anybody else from any other country on this show.
Yeah.
That's
So
no,
they'll
that's no
remind you
question.
that in the chat.
As long as hey, somebody let this guy I knew last year let somebody in his shit, and they literally had the camera on their toilet flushing shit.
Oh yeah, dude. It's,
yeah,
bro.
I was
I'm
laughing
telling you, man.
my ass off, but I was like, they got you. Stop letting everybody in your shit.
And honestly, Chrissy, like, if for whatever reason you are legit and I'm fucked up, I apologize. But I've had every single stream, somebody comes in here trying to dupe me with some other kind of profile, and make me believe that they're a legit person. Then they throw up some fucking swastikas
Bro,
or some
I don't
dumb
see your
shit.
face.
Like,
You ain't getting in.
yeah, man. So if I can't see some kind of verification, then it ain't gonna happen. But I know these people, man. I know everybody in this room. These are my people, man. This is my Friday free for all brethren. Gentlemen, I think I'm probably about to get up out here, man. It's almost 9:30, but I do want to ask if y'all have any final thoughts or feelings, or again, I kind of feel like we've been talking about a lot of the same shit lately, but I mean, until there's something new, man, until something happens with Baker Mayfield, like, we're probably going to be talking about this shit again. I just hope that they decide to shit or get off the pot, man.
Yes.
Like, quit leaving us wondering about this. I'm over
Cody,
it.
they wouldn't have a job if they did.
My only wish for this team is before the season starts is that we pick up some sort of linebacker that is actual.
I agree.
I don't know what's out there in free agency. I don't know what we can get, but that is the one position on this team that scares me even more than the quarterback.
And Cam.
If
I know Pickle ain't gonna like
Hey, but hold on, hey, real quick, Carson. Carson Money says I wanted to join the show, but you guys are unfamiliar with me, bro. If you like go out of your way to like let me know who you are, and also like I can kind of figure out some ways to kind of like show people. But if I can verify that you are who you are, yeah, I'll always let you in, man. Like I've been letting Anthony in.
I feel like I've noticed that profile pic a lot though, Cody.
We've had a woman guest on here on this show before.
That Jeremy Chin profile pic, I feel like I've seen that in every show.
A lot of people.
Yeah, Carson won. He's in everybody's chat, and that's what I'm saying. Like, like to everybody who wants to be a part of the show, trust me, I want you to be a part of the show. Like, that's the whole point of this shit. So, just gotta let me know. Send me messages on Twitter. Follow me at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Also, another thing I've noticed, I'm going to start uploading these audios to all of our audio platforms as well. So if you want to listen to the Friday Free For All as well as watch it on YouTube, everybody will have the opportunity to do that as well. But
Cody, I'm going to.
Does anybody have any final words that they want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, Cody, let me ask you this real quick, G. Who do you want to start as far as our 1, 2, and slot corner? In your opinion, who are your starters right now?
Oh man, so all right, I think Robbie. So obviously DJ is number 1.
Corners.
Yeah. No, corners.
Corner. No, I think JC's our number 1. Bro, how about this? JC might be the best player on our whole football team, man. I don't have a lot of evidence to show you that, but I really think J.C. Horn is like that. So then I would say number 2. Honestly, even though I'd prefer Dante in the slot, I think Dante is our number 2. And I kind of think they're going to probably put C.J. Henderson at that slot corner position. Now, I wish they would flip it. I would put C.J. Henderson on the outside and put D-Jax inside to lock down that middle. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to have Dante at 2, C.J. at number 3, Xavier Woods on the roof, and then they're going to have Jeremy Chin up in the box.
Now, this is my thing, Cody. As far as corners, I love our corners, G. I'm not gonna lie. And a lot there's this name that a lot of motherfuckers that don't mention that we picked up this off season that I'm excited for, and his name is Chris Westry. He's 6'4". He's fast as fuck. I'm excited to see what he can do. I like Keith Taylor. I like what we have in Keith Taylor. And, not knock on wood, no injuries or anything, but we do have depth as far as that corner position. I feel like we need to pick up one more safety, and I feel like we definitely need to pick up not just one linebacker. We need to pick up a couple linebackers, man.
If I may say, that Weston kid you're talking about,
Westry.
Yeah,
Westry.
they said, I knew I was going to butcher that name. I'm just me. They said that they were lining him up at corner and safety in OTAs. Matt Rule even said that he can play corner and safety. He can do both. And they were actually
now,
doing
this is my
but
thing.
they
If
said
you're
he
saying that, hey, pickle. If you're saying that, G, I don't mind putting a 6'4",
yeah,
DB at free safety. Putting Xavier Woods at strong safety and moving Jeremy Chin back to fucking linebacker, man.
Oh, I don't know they'll do that, but
That's what I would
here's
do.
what I know.
That would make
Here's
sense.
what I think. I feel
like Jeremy Chin played better at linebacker than he does at safety, man.
I think you're going to see a lot of three safeties on the field at the same time. I think you're going to see Chin in the box, and you're going to see two safeties in the back. I think you're going to see that some, or maybe even one safety and Chin in the box.
Hey man, I saw Ken get roasted last year.
Real quick, I lied to y'all. We got one more topic to discuss.
Yeah, because they have even mentioned old NASCAR packages and stuff like that.
Bro, we have to mention, how in the fuck did the Saints get a black helmet?
And we don't.
Before the Panthers.
Is this real?
Yes,
yeah, this is real, bro. This
is
badass.
And it looks good too.
It looks good.
It looks
because
real good.
because
we got a cheap ass owner.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Because the owner's too damn cheap.
All black uniforms look so good.
my God, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. How did the Panthers not do this first?
There's only what 4 or 5 teams in the NFL that have black helmets. I guess they make 6. That's what Atlanta, Baltimore.
Our mascot is literally a black cat.
We are the motherfucking Panthers. If anybody should have a black helmet,
say that, Twan.
I agree.
Say that, Twan.
I agree.
Come on, man.
Silver.
Yeah,
bro.
Wow, this is new news to me, bro. This is news to me, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have thought that we had an all black uniform by now, with those Panther blue decals and stuff up there, whatever. Man, look, when I saw San Francisco wear that all black that they do, man, that's the Panthers, man. That should be us all day.
This gives. I saw this on Twitter, and my first thought was, it gives me more ammunition to hate the Saints.
Damn.
Yep.
They might not win, but they're gonna look good.
Yeah.
and it's real. That's the Saints official Twitter account, man.
Yeah, it is.
No money, man.
That's corny as fuck.
I've never seen a cheap ass billion.
All right, man. So look, we did it, man. We did 2 hours and 30 minutes. One hell of a podcast, man. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. Y'all make this podcast what it is. A bunch of lively, spirited debates. Man, another fantastic Friday free-for-all in the books. My name is Cody Lashney. Follow me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Is there anybody that has anything that you want to
I want to shout out.
before we get out of here? Let me let Greg and Twan promote their content. Greg, we'll go to you first, man. Tell them where they can find your stuff, brother.
Yeah, man, definitely. I am the Bat Daddy. Check me out at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. My show's normally recording right now live on YouTube, but we moved it to tomorrow night. So anybody wants to come check us out, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We're talking Obi-Wan, Star Wars, Strange.
Hey, I got a question for you, Bat Daddy. I'm glad you said that, G. I'm glad you said that, G. Okay. How you feel? Because I was born in 91, bro. I'll be 31 in August, G. So I grew up on the fucking Star Wars, bro. You like that Obi-Wan Kenobi on the Disney Plus, G?
Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Star Wars character. So personally, me, yes, I like it.
Bro, that's just fire, dude. That's just
I'm loving it. Come check us out tomorrow. We're talking about it. The penultimate is this week. And next week. Yeah.
It's all about the original. It's all about the originals.
They're all good in their own merit. Yeah, the originals are where it's at.
I'll see y'all.
I got to see. Look, I got to see Return of the Jedi in '84. Was it when Lucas did shit that they're doing now in film?
That's my number one. That's my number one movie of all the Star Wars. Right there.
Hey, by the way, how is it?
My Disney princess hanging out.
How is it that I mentioned the New Orleans Saints one time, and like 50 of their fucking fans show up in our chat room?
They're like Beetlejuice, man.
They were here earlier. They were here earlier. They
you bitches be watching.
They were here earlier.
You bitches really be watching. Y'all really be loving, bro.
They pretend like they don't care about us, bro.
Y'all really do fucking fuck with us, bro.
We got better podcasts than they do, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, but hey, check us out tomorrow. Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse live on YouTube.
Wait, hold on. Let me get that. Let me get that, Bad Daddy. What is it, G?
Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. I'll send the link for it in the chat room.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna watch. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna subscribe, motherfucker.
There you go. I like that.
That's right, man. Hit the like. And by the way, man, to everybody who hasn't done so already, hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell for every single time the C3 podcast goes live. Twan, tell them where they can find your stuff, man.
Yeah, man. I run the 704 Charlotte Bound podcast. If anybody know anything with the Panthers, remember a guy named 704. He passed away on last year. This guy was like the greatest fan, so I changed the name of my podcast to reflect this name. Is also one of my best friends, and I mean our channel is still growing. It's getting better and better every year, man. I love it. The people that are showing up now. I mean, we actually had our first person from another country come on the other day, and shout out to the Saints fans, man, because I mean they're in our chat all the time, bro. But look, they actually come with decent content and they're respectful. I mean, they're very respectful, unlike Cowboys fans that try to pop up.
That's true. That's true. Cowboy fans have done rated Cody with about 3,000 sex images. They just Cowboy fans are nasty people.
Hey, come on, throw that link in the chat, G.
I know.
And that goes for all of you guys on this free for all right now. Go to the 704 Charlotte Bound Show on YouTube. Subscribe, get the notifications. Yeah. And like Cody does, I mean, I'll invite you on. I got to know who you are, though. There's too many trolls.
What day is that?
Oh, yeah.
We go every Tuesday night, right before Cody and them start filming.
Okay.
I'm trying to get that night change because I don't want to compete with Cody. Cody's fucking up my views.
Twan, I subscribe.
Yeah, see, everybody gotta support each other's content, man.
One big
one day I had about 80-something people in my chat, and then Cody went live, and then that shit was like 42. I was like, what the fuck? People trying to switch back and forth.
Hey, Tony's been grinding longer than me, man. But me, Greg, CK. Man, for the past 3 or 4 years, we've been grinding.
Man, I see all of y'all.
Man. Yeah, man, we've been grinding, so don't feel bad, man. a lot of times your numbers might start to seem like they're stagnating.
Mhm.
But bro, just keep on putting in work.
It's all good,
and,
man.
yeah, man.
They can
Eventually,
always go back and replay the show, man.
yeah, man. Everybody, support Panther.
I gotta get
content.
G Baby over there, man, because he'll fit right in. What some of my guys like to do, man.
Oh yeah.
704 Charlotte Bound, right?
The 704 Charlotte Bound show. I got a couple of crybabies that's on our platform that keep saying what the Panthers ain't gonna do. So,
And Greg is Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. Y'all make sure to check him out too, man.
Cody's been in there several times. Cody, let him know.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And I'm gonna be back on there again, man. We
Yeah.
just gotta
I
make
just
it
found
happen.
out. Yeah, Cody had to let me know. Cody was like, he goes Tuesday night, and I'm like, I'm not gonna expect him to leave his shit. Like, Cody, fuck your show. Come on.
Hey, if it's a little bit earlier, I might be able to kind of
man.
swing
I'm
by and
working on
stop
it.
by and chill for a few minutes. But yeah, man, nothing but love. Hey, this has been the C3 Friday Free
Yes,
for All,
sir.
the show for the fans by the fans.
Stop
name
filling
is
my line,
Cody
Cody.
Lashley. You already know what it is, y'all.
I didn't lose my temper
Down.
today.
There you go.